Welcome to the Simply Race British Championships from Simply Race in Milton Keynes. We are here for the final round of the Simply Race Touring Car Championship. We've got 3 races coming up from the Brands Hatch GP circuit to find out who will be our champion for this season. We currently have Matt Richards leading the championship by 32 points from reigning champion Lewis Manley. So we're expecting a fierce battle between those two to decide the championship by the end of today. So, Sean, looking forward to this this fight to see if Richards can get this championship?
I am looking forward to the fight. I am kind of more looking forward to hoping it's going to be a very close race meeting between Manley and Richards. I don't want him to run away with it, even though I like both of the drivers.
Yeah, I think Lewis is definitely needs to get a good result in race 1. Needs to hope really that Richards runs into a bit of trouble, perhaps. But there's no doubt Lewis is looking very quick in practice, so it's going to be a fight, I think, all the way to the end.
100% the fight all the way to the end, and obviously there's a lot of quick drivers throughout the entire grid. Any one of those can muck things up for either one of these drivers, but I'm hoping that we have basically a really close race in all 3 races, and it's fun for us to commentate on, essentially. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see some great action, and the drivers are just going into the qualifying session, so we're going to go ahead straight in, and we're going to go join the qualifying and have a look at see what times are being set. It's for this qualifying session. This will describe the grid order for the first race. So all the cars at the moment carrying championship level ballast, which means that Matt Richards will be carrying the full amount of ballast, 75 kilos. Lewis Manley will be carrying 66 kilos, and Francis Harold, who's currently third in the championship, will have 58 kilos on board. So it'll be if Manley really needs to, I think, out-qualify Richards initially. That's his first target, so that he can try and affect and control the race from the front. We're looking at Manley now in the MG. MG the most popular choice, I think, in this championship at the moment, other than the Vauxhall Astra.
Yeah, both Richards and Manley running the MG. And so the MG has proved quite popular and quite fast. So yeah, it's going to be a battle between those two. We've got a few changes for this round. We've got Ben Bennyworth will be standing in for Daniel Handover. He'll be driving.
He'll be driving the Positivity Racing car. So Positivity Racing livery will be Ben Bennyworth this time round.
Yeah, and he did the Clios this morning. Was going quite well in the Clio Championship. So he's got his eye in around the circuit already.
Yeah, we're probably going to have a very quick start again, and hopefully he doesn't have too much trouble with these bigger touring cars, as we see them all pulling into the pits to stick on those soft tyres. Yeah,
so the drivers all go out on the medium tyre, I think, and basically they just get rid of those and change onto the softs as quick as possible.
Yeah, once we've got a little bit of a break, obviously you can see on the side of the screen we've got O Davies, which is Ollie Davies, our regular competitor in the Subaru, and also I think it's Matt Davies as well, but he'll be driving in Callum Cripps's car. So okay. They won't look the same.
Yeah, so Ollie Davies and Matt Davies, will try not to get them confused as the afternoon goes on. Ollie Davies in the Subaru, and everyone likes to see the Subaru do well. It's obviously the rear-wheel drive car, so a bit different handling-wise to most of the other cars on the grid. And it's always interesting to see the difference, certainly as the race develops between the Subaru and the rest of the front-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, it's become a more popular choice of car as the series has gone on, as you've seen a lot more success from people like Ollie Davies himself, who's been on the podium a few times now and showing how quick he can really be in that car. And it tends to be quite nice to the tyres, so towards the end of the race you have a lot of pace, and it also gets off the line rather well.
Yeah, this is Ben Brown we're looking at in the Astra, another Clio Cup driver who's done a couple of races today already in the Clio Championship.
Got bashed about quite a bit in the Clio Championship.
He's definitely a bit in the wars. This is Matt Davies, who's driving the that sort of
the Callum Cripps Racing Subaru.
Yes, blue, yellow, and grey-coloured Subaru. So another Subaru on the grid. He'll be standing in for Cripps' car, and so it's going to be fascinating to see if Manley can get this pole position.
If we're going by the pace of earlier, it looks like he probably will do, but he's going to have a lot of strong competition from people like Richards. As Hyde sets our first fastest lap to go top, which is a 1:34, I'm sure that will come down as we go on.
Yeah, he's the first man to get a flying lap in. There's Manley in the MG. Richards just sat in behind him at the moment. And that looks like in front of the Cam Sport cars. That will probably be Chris Wilson, I think.
That'll be Chris Wilson in the ice car, yeah. Just see from the blue flecks of paint.
Then we've got Ollie Davies in the Subaru, and then just at the back, the Pink Panther racing car of Francis Harold. I think, or it could be John Curry, because they have a very similar livery.
They do have a similar race livery. I'm trying to remember which ones got the right colour. They've got switched grey and blue colours for either one of the cars. I don't reckon that is Ollie Davies behind, because I think Ollie's got a blue suit.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well, we'll try and work out which one's which by the time we get to the race start.
I think that was Ben Winter, actually.
Ben Winter. Okay, so we've got 3 Subarus on the grid then.
Yeah.
So the Subaru is proving quite a popular car. It's quite a nice car to drive. The only disadvantage really to the rear-wheel drive is that if you get tapped by another car, it's easy to spin.
As we see Manley with a bit of a slide coming on through Graham Hill there. Hope that didn't cost him much time.
Really pushing very hard. We're on board here with Matt Richards following Lewis Manley. You can see Manley really sliding the car a lot through Surtees Bend there. Someone spun off on the left.
Manguera, who's back was in the barriers there.
Hyde's gone faster again, 1:32.5.
That's a much better lap time.
That's more representative of the sort of times you're going to need to get yourself a good place on this grid. Manny's off on the grass there.
They're all quite close together here, which might affect their lap times. I know they're trying to get a bit of a draft behind Manley to set a quick lap time, but it might not help.
Yeah, and Colin Talbot's at 1:31.2. That's a good lap from Colin.
It's a very good lap from Colin. I'm sure he'll be happy enough with that. We'll still try and keep going faster. Manley's really killing them tyres. He obviously knows it's a soft set for qualifying. He's just going to throw it around as fast as he can.
Yeah, so it's one flying lap really on these tyres, would you say? Could you get 2 flying laps out?
You could probably get 2 out of them. It just depends how you want to be and whether you want to get out in different traffic.
Yeah.
It looks to me, the last couple of rounds or so, we've seen people dive into the pits behind Manley.
Chris Wilson does a 1:31.0, now Manley, and Richards with the 30.0. So 3/10 quicker than Manley on that lap.
Obviously with the benefit of following him around the track as well.
Yeah, I almost wondered if Manley was going to kind of bail out of it and deliberately not want Richards following him so closely, don't
Yeah,
they?
it kind of feels a bit like mind games in a way, doesn't it? Already saying, I'm behind you and I'm going faster.
Yes, it's almost like, is this going to be Richards' tactic for the whole day? Is he just going to follow Manley round? He could do. He could still win the championship just following him round.
He could still win the championship following him round. I mean, he's a very smart driver. Obviously, we'd like to see him actually put the moves on and give us a real proper race, though.
But yeah, definitely a bit of...
So we have Willis going second now, so that's Ben Willis, which is the teammate to Matt Richards, going in second.
Yeah, that's a good lap. Very almost as quick as Richards as well. Just half a tenth off. So great lap from Willis there. And I can see Willis is actually purple in the first sector, I think.
Yeah, it looks like the first and third sector.
And first and second. And then Richards is the quickest man in the third sector. So
yeah, if he gets that third sector nailed down, he might even get on pole. You never know.
yeah, incredibly tight at the times.
Of course, you have to remember that Matt Richards is carrying a lot more ballast than Willis is as well. So he's currently first in the championship, so carrying the full amount of ballast you can as he dives into the pits for some more fresh boots.
The full 75 kilos for Matt Richards. Here is Ben Winter in one of the Subarus. And he at the moment, this will be he hasn't set a lap time yet, so a little bit out of sync compared to everyone else.
Possibly just trying for track position, probably dive into the pits to get some clean air.
Yeah, because you can get quite crowded, everyone else flying up at the same time, and you really don't want any distractions, certainly any obstructions, or it's nice to have clear track to yourself. And that's what Winter has got at the moment.
But just to show how close this grid is at the moment, I think we've got 2 seconds between all drivers, less than 2 seconds from first to, I think it's 11th where Ben Brown is.
It looks like Winter's aborted that lap. Obviously not happy with the first 2 sectors, so probably just conserving his tyres, going to go again, another flying lap. Here's Daniel Hyde. He's currently 12th on a 1:32.5.
We're hoping to get a bit of a better starting position than that. Harold's down in 13th, which is not where you'd usually see Francis Harold. You'd see him rather towards the sharp end usually.
Yeah, Harold is actually 3rd in the championship. There's a bit of a gap between him and Lewis Manley, but he is there in 3rd place, and with Handover not being here, Harold has got a good opportunity to finish third in this championship. His main competition will probably be from Ollie Davies and possibly John Curry as well, who are just 10 and 15 points behind him. So, bit of a battle there for third in the championship.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to put money on either of them winning because they're both quite aggressive and quick drivers, but we'll see how it goes from here on.
Yeah. This is Ben Brown. He's 7th in the championship on 121 points. Driving the Astra. The Astra, another quite a popular choice of car. A lot of runners in the midfield running the Vauxhall Astra.
Yeah, having driven it myself, it's quite easy to drive, but it doesn't change direction very well.
Oh, right, it's a bit...
Yeah, it's understeery like you would expect a front-wheel drive car, yeah.
So Brown at the moment 11th. He's just crossing the line now. Doesn't improve, so he stays in 11th place for now. Here's Harold in the Pink Panther Racing Astra.
So now I can distinguish between the two. So
the grey bonnet.
Grey bonnet, yeah. So Curry must have the blue bonnet. Best way to put it.
That's it.
Ben Winter still hasn't set a lap time yet.
No, he seemed to have bought one of his laps, and then I think he must have pitted because he hasn't set a time at all. So,
as I say that, there's he jumped up to into 6th. Not a bad lap time, so 30.6, I think it was.
Yep, pretty good.
That's bought it again by the looks of it.
So here is Handover's car, which is being driven by Bennyworth.
Bennyworth.
Yep.
And a complete blank just there.
So Ben Bennyworth currently in 5th position. Here's John Curry, another championship regular.
Pink bonnet, not blue.
Pink bonnet. Yep.
I'll get there eventually. Give me some time.
John Curry's 6th in the championship, so he is one of those drivers who could get that 3rd place. He's just 15 points behind Francis Harold.
So Grant, our cameraman's just whispered in our ear and told us that apparently there was a bit of a funny business going on in the pit lane just there. So Lewis held himself in the pits and waited for Richards to go out before he went out of the pits to give himself some clear air.
And he's really sliding that car around. Here's this is Willis, who's currently still at 2nd place.
Let's see if he can get burst.
Manley's gone fastest.
Breaks into a 29. 129.797. Let's see if we can have a Richards response now.
So it could be interesting to see if Willis is going to play a role in trying to support his teammate Richards. See if they can play any team games in order to gang up on Manley a bit.
Back to last round, Willis played the best wingman you could ever ask for, as he drove a ridiculously good race. He wasn't exactly slow, but he definitely kept Manley behind him for quite a few and frustrated him throughout the entire race.
Francis Harold has gone 4th there, so a good lap time for him. The times, look at how tight they are there between those 2nd, 3rd and 4th drivers.
That's a lot more what you expected of Harold, to be honest. He's been on pole already this year, and he's been right at the front, on the front row a couple of times, as Wilson gets a little bit loose there on the edge.
On the grass coming out of Dingledale. Wilson currently 5th, so he's put in a good time already.
That's rather impressive. He struggled this morning in the Clios, if I remember. It's going a lot faster here.
Yes, and he's pitting for some new tyres.
I think he's probably surprised himself and he has to come in and take a break and catch his breath.
You can't believe he's up in 5th place at the moment. Richardson 6th, and then John Curry is 7th at the moment. Bennyworth down to 8th. So lots of the drivers pitting for new rubber.
Now we've got 2 seconds between 1st to 14th. So it's extremely close on this grid.
Yeah, it's getting tighter and tighter, as we'd expect. It's a highly competitive championship. Look at all those drivers on 130.
130. That brings a lot of memories home to you, doesn't it?
That's right, yeah, it's a good number. Just stay on the 130. So here we're on board with
Mangera, I think it is.
Mangera, yep, coming up towards Druid's Corner, this sort of second gear, would you say? Maybe first or second gear?
Usually second gear.
Second gear
drive.
Out of here, down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. Tricky corner this one, easy to miss the apex and easy to run very wide.
Can take a lot of speed through there though.
He's done that quite nicely, and then we're heading up to Surtees. Long corner leading onto a very long straight, and the exit's important to get a good exit out of here. He's a bit wide.
We went a bit tight into that corner, should have stayed out wide and cut in to get, like you say, a good exit. And as we come down the Pilgrim's Drop now, very fast section of the track.
And into Hawthorne Bend here at the end. This is a very fast right-hander.
Yeah, very slight braking. Some people only lift on this corner, believe it or not.
And then down to Westfield. Got the apex there. Late run out. And then hard on the power again now towards Dingle Dell. This sort of fast kink. You can carry a lot of speed through here. Make sure you've got to get it back to the right here for this left-hander at Stirling's. Nicely on the apex. And then powering out down towards Clearways and the end of the lap.
Bringing ourselves back onto the Bradham Straight to come across the finish line. Flat out.
So here he comes, Mangera still. It's in a 134 at the moment. Can he do any better with this lap? It's a 133.
And as we were following this lap time, Ben Bennyworth rapidly has just gone into second place, and he's fell into the 129s as well. That's an impressive lap from him after he had a really good showing in the Clios earlier this morning.
Yeah, fantastic lap by Bennyworth. So right in amongst it, he split the championship contenders, and that's great news for Manley. You'll be very pleased to see that.
He's being followed by Harold, who we did this last time and set a very quick lap time. Let's see what he does this time around. Doesn't seem to have improved.
Not that time.
He's only 0.2 off.
So we're just coming up to the end of the session to whether these drivers will get this flying lap in, or is this going to be the grid?
Top 9 covered by a second.
Manley's off.
That's the end
At
of
the
the
end of the
session.
session, yes. So Manley will be quite pleased with that. I think he will start from pole position. Ben Bennyworth, a brilliant qualifying to be second, and then Matt Richards third with his teammate Willis alongside him on the second row, and then you've got Harold Curry, the Pink Panther Racing cars, filling out the third row. So that makes for quite an exciting first race, and we'll take a short break, and then we will go for race one. Okay, so drivers are on the grid, ready to go onto their formation lap for this race 1. So quite an interesting grid actually. We've got Manley trying to win this championship for the 3rd time? 4th time. Anyway, the reigning champion.
Yeah, reigning champion. It's 4th time, I think it is anyway.
And Matt Richards, the guy who's leading the championship, starting from the 2nd row with his teammate alongside him there, Ben Willis. And Ben Bennyworth right in the mix.
Ben Bennyworth driving the Positively Racing car. I'm sure Daniel Hander will appreciate him making his car right at the top of the grid.
Right up there on the front row. So this really does spice things up a bit. A lot's going to rest, I think, on who can get a good launch.
Well, obviously Ben Bennyworth has got no weight in his car. So
yes.
He might have a good launch and try and throw himself in front of Lewis at the start of the race. Yeah,
Bennyworth has that advantage. Lewis carrying 66 kilos of ballast, whereas Matt Richards carrying the full 75. A bit further back then we've got Harold and Curry on the 3rd row. They will be carrying ballast. Harold has 58 kilos and John Curry 33. So Harold looking to cement that 3rd place in the championship. And then a bit further back we've got Chris Wilson there in 7th position. And then we have Will Richardson in 8th, Ben Winter 9th, Daniel Hyde will start 10th. Then we've got a couple of Subarus, Ollie Davies and Matt Davies, 11th and 12th. Colin Talbot down in 13th. Ben Brown, unusually quite far down in 14th. And then Mangera will start 15th.
Yeah, I wouldn't usually expect Ben down in 14th. And also the Subarus are struggling by the looks of it. You've got 9th, 11th and 12th for the Subarus.
Yeah, Ben Winter being the furthest up the grid for the Subarus. So maybe we'll see as the race goes on if tyre wear becomes a factor and whether the Subarus can use that to their advantage compared to the front-wheel drive cars. It'll be interesting to see.
One thing for sure, Lewis won't be able to throw it around the track like he was in qualifying, otherwise his tyres will be screaming in agony after the first few laps.
He was putting that car into all shapes, all sorts of shapes in qualifying, and tremendous lap to get the pole. So yeah, he's going to just be hoping, I think, that Bennyworth can stay in front of Richards.
But stay behind him.
Yeah. Keep Richards in the pack, really, is what Manley needs.
Well, he's got an advantage here because he's got, I think he's got Richards directly behind him on the grid, so he can just hold him up into the first corner if he needs to, as long as Bennyworth gets away cleanly as well, but doesn't interfere with him too much into Paddock Hill.
Yeah, so a lot will rest on the launch and that run down to Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. So there we have Manley, Bennyworth, the 2 MGs of Richards and Willis, and then the 2 Astras of Harold and Curry. As they're all lined up, they're all in position, and we are waiting for the lights. You won't see the lights on your screen, but the drivers can see them. And we are ready to go racing. They're away. Looks like a jump start in the background by one of the Subarus, I think. But it looks like a fairly even launch. Manley has the inside. Bennyworth's made a reasonable start. And they're all going through 2 by 2. Bennyworth a little bit wide. There's Richards trying to get the inside. Willis has dropped back a few places. Harold, I think, is in 4th.
Richard throws it down the inside of Bennyworth there.
Bennyworth's run a bit wide coming out of Druids.
Oh, I can hear shouting in the venue.
Bennyworth has managed to maintain 2nd for the time being. Richards is behind him. Willis is 5th. And so Manley has the lead at the moment. And look at Harold. He's trying to get the inside of Richards. Bit of contact.
This is exactly what Manley wanted. Look, he's pulling out a bit of a lead already. This is what he needs to happen.
Yes, so he really wants Bennyworth to keep doing that job of holding Richards back and pushing him into the pack.
Harold under a little bit of pressure now from Willis behind him as well, wanting to get that place back.
So yeah, Bennyworth doing a good job so far. There's Willis, he's 5th. Then you've got Hyde, Winter, Davies, Curry. I'm not sure, one of the Subarus jumped the start.
I think it was Ollie Davies, so he'll probably end up with a penalty of some sort. I don't know what the race direction will do with it, but we'll leave that to Mike today.
It certainly looked like he moved before everybody else.
This is a replay, so
Druids.
Winter into the side of Wilson, and oh dear.
Wilson's really been beaten up there. Sort of a multiple contact, really. Pushed off.
4 cars into one corner doesn't usually go.
No, it's always going to... 4 cars aren't going to come out the other side.
No. That's unfortunate for Chris Wilson. I'm sure he'll be frustrated.
Yeah, so Wilson down to 15th for the time being. Needs to make a comeback drive in this 18-lap race. Bennyworth still there in second, holding Richards.
He's not really losing Manley that much either.
No, this is a great drive so far by Bennyworth. And then Richards, a little bit of a gap developing back to Francis Harold in 4th. And then Ben Willis 5th. Daniel Hyde in 6th.
That is a great position for Daniel Hyde. He'll be well happy with being that far up the grid.
Yeah, he must have made a great start. He's made up 4 places from his starting position. So he's the big mover, and of course Chris Wilson the big loser so far, down 8 places. Richards then very close to the back of Bennyworth. Through this fast right-hander, Hawthorne. And this is Westfield Bend. So Richards is looking very fast. He's looking to see if he can force an opening. He's having a little look into Dingledale. This is a bit risky.
Bennyworth cuts his nose off and says that's my position, but he goes off.
Bennyworth on the grass, defending hard. It was a risky move by Richards, I think, there into Dingledale.
He's going to the outside now for the final, is it Clark's Curve?
Clearways they're coming up to here. Richards on the outside, trying to undercut, trying to maybe get up the inside for Paddock Hill Bend.
Did he get the power down early, but Bennyworth closes the door straight away.
So Bennyworth, is he going to defend here? Manley sets the fastest lap. Oh, he's left the door open, Bennyworth. It looks like Richards is through.
Can he get back on the power and underneath him coming up to Druids?
He's got the inside line up to Druids. Got to pick his braking spot. He's done it well. He's holding inside.
Around the outside.
No, Bennyworth has closed the door there, and this is allowing Harold to get much closer to the back.
And in turn,
Richards.
Willis as well.
They're all bunching up. Bennyworth's gone very wide, coming out of Graham Hill Bend.
Coming to Surtees, he's left the door wide open.
Richards has got the inside here. He should be through.
Can Bennyworth get the cut back?
No, I think he almost just didn't have the space. He almost was too close to the back of Richards there.
Yeah, way too close. Just didn't have enough time to cut it back inside. Now Harold's right on the back of him as well.
So now under severe pressure from Francis Harold, having a little bit of a look into Hawthorne.
Now, Ollie Davies is back in last. He's probably had to go through for a penalty for that jump start. And Ben Winters also dropped down to 14th. So, don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, so bad news for the Subaru runners at the moment. Only Matt Davies in 8th, the other 2 at the back. And this is bunched up quite a bit, but now Richards is through. Is he going to be able to pull away from Bennyworth and go after Manley?
Like I said earlier, he doesn't technically have to beat Manley, but from pride he probably wants to win this race.
Yeah, he has a lead in the championship. All he really needs to do is collect some decent points. Here's a replay of Winter and Hyde.
Ooh, not sure how this one's going to be taken. It kind of looks like he's come across him, but again, race direction will sort this one out for us and see what's happened. They have all the input and telemetry data.
Yeah, they'll have a close look at that to decide whether it was, and that was Willis.
That was
out on the gravel on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. Yeah, so the race director will have a good look at all the data and try and make a judgment on whether Winter was far enough alongside Hyde at that point when the contact was made, and decide whether any further action needs to be taken.
A lot of people going wide here, and I think that's going to be track limits for a few of them.
Here comes Harold up the inside of Bennyworth.
There was contact there, I'm sure of it, but
Bennyworth on the grass. That's going to cost him his run down here. That could allow Willis through as well. And Willis does get through. So Bennyworth now down to 5th. He's been sort of bumped and pushed out the way. He's made a few little errors.
Just have to regroup himself now and try and get back into the same rhythm he had earlier and try and pick these places off one by one.
So Manley in the lead as it stands to collect the full 20 points for the race victory. Only lap 4 though, long way to go.
Yeah, Richards has checked out from these guys and he's in hot pursuit of Manley now.
Yeah, the gap between Manley and Richards, less than 2 seconds. So just about 1.5 seconds. A long way to go in this race yet. And here we're watching Harold, Willis and Bennyworth battling over 3rd position.
Nice to have 3 different cars. And in your screen, bottom picture, we've got John Curry alongside Daniel Hyde. Tries to go around the outside at Paddock Hill, doesn't make it work.
Yeah, so Hyde still hanging on to that sixth position.
The opportunist, Matt Davies, has dived down the inside of John Curry there. Oh!
Bit of contact between Davies and Curry there.
And that is exactly what we were saying about Subaru before. As Willis comes up the inside of Harold.
Yes, into Surtees. He's got the inside, a very long corner this, so he's definitely going to be through, but Harold tries to cut back, but Willis blocks him off, and that's allowed Bennyworth to get alongside Harold. Not quite. Harold maintains that fourth position. Bennyworth very close behind him.
These three all seem to be very similar pace. It only seems to be slight mistakes that's allowing other people through.
Yes, so they're dropping back quite dramatically for Richards in second place. But Willis doing a good job of recovering from his slightly poor opening lap. And now got himself back into third position, and he's...
Curry up the inside of Hyde there in our picture-in-picture. Bit of door banging. I think Ben Brown's on the outside as he made his way through. Ben
Brown's got around the outside, I think, of Hyde there. What a great move that was. So Ben Brown making his way through the field. He's up into 7th place now. That's a great move. Hyde's down to 8th, and now he's fending off Richardson.
And Talbot in close pursuit behind them.
Tremendously close racing in the midfield there. Out front, Manley still just a bit less than about 1.5 seconds ahead.
Oh, and I think that's Hyde one round there.
Hyde is in the gravel.
I don't know if he was helped into the gravel or not.
More contact there. That looks like Talbot and Richardson at Druids. Oh, someone's spun the car coming out. Is that this one the Subaru's gone round?
It looked like Matt Davies to me in the Callum Cripps car.
I think Davies spun coming out of Druids. That's the thing with the rear-wheel drive Subaru. It can catch you out.
It doesn't take a lot for them to go around. They're very lovely cars to drive, but you have to be pinpoint with them.
And that's so Winter down in 11th position at the moment. Here's Ben Willis, still in 3rd position, just in front of Harold. Bennyworth there as well.
Oh, I can hear shouting in the background. It sounds like Colin Talbot, but
it's a fierce battle going on in the midfield. Here's a replay of the spin that Davies had coming out of Druids. Got on the power a bit early. Yeah. Back of the car comes around,
and it stopped in the wrong direction. That makes it even worse.
So he's lost quite a bit of time there. And yeah, down in 11th place for now. So yeah, none of the Subarus having a great race at the moment. 11th, 13th and 15th they are.
It seems Willis has got a bit of breathing space now, but Harold's still got Bennyworth breathing down his neck.
Yeah, here's Richardson.
Talbot, who's pulled into the pits.
So I wonder if Talbot has got a drive-through penalty. We'll try and get confirmation from Race Direction on that.
Not 100% sure, but that's probably what we heard the shouting about earlier.
So John Curry here in 6th place, just in front of Ben Brown. Ben Brown is up 7 places because he qualified quite far back.
Yeah, Ben, it wasn't too great, but it looks like he's just slowly picking his way through the grid, and his next target is John.
Yeah, and he's up 7 places, so great drive so far for Ben Brown.
He is the biggest mover and shaker. Everyone else is staying about station or 1 or 2 places up and down. Here's another replay. This one looks like Talbot. Oh, that's probably what the penalty was for.
That's what happened to Hyde then. That's how we ended up in the gravel. It looks like Talbot just got in a bit hot there, and I don't know, it didn't look like he was really attempting an overtake, but
he attempted the overtake on Richardson, I'm sure of it, but he didn't expect Hyde to be there when he got there.
He didn't account for Hyde, being there sort of. So unfortunate.
And this is Matt Richards right on the back of Manley now.
So Richards has caught Manley quite significantly. The gap now less than a second.
You can also see that Bennyworth is in front of Harold now as well.
Yes.
On the screens.
So Bennyworth has passed Harold somewhere that we didn't see. But yeah, Richards now on lap 8. Really starting to move in on the back of Lewis Manley. This is not what Manley wants to see.
We've seen Manley fight lots of tough competitors in his time, and I'm sure he'll be up for the fight in this one as well.
He will, but he really doesn't want Richards to be that close. He really was hoping that Richards would fall further back into the pack, but it hasn't happened. Richards has battled his way back through, and now he is there in a strong second position at the moment.
Another big shout out to Willis, who's having a very strong race again, as he did last round. Seems to have the pace, so it's a replay.
Here's Bennyworth getting past Harold, I think, out of Surtees, down Pilgrim's Drop. Benioff on the left, and he just must have got a good exit, and he was able to get around and turn across the front of Harold at Hawthorne. So
Harold was on the grass as he came out there, so he couldn't get the full power down, whereas Benioff could. So
yeah. So yes, great move by Benioff there. So yeah, Richards getting ever closer, I would say, to the back of Lewis Manley. Just half a second now, the gap.
So it's very, very tough ask for Willis to catch these two. I'm sure these two are going to be fighting within a couple of laps.
So would you reckon that Manley might try and slow Richards up, allow the pack to catch them a bit?
It's not his usual driving style.
It'd be quite tricky to do without letting Richards through.
He's very good at attacking, Lewis is, but I've not seen him play the defensive card too much. He might try that tactic today just to see if he can back him up, but the problem is the person behind Matt is his own teammate Ben.
Yes. Willis is performing a very good rear gunner duty. So yeah, Manley and Richards, the class of the field all season long.
Just had some confirmation from race direction through our cameraman Grant that the reason Talbot pulled into the pits was for the contact with Daniel Hyde that he picked up earlier.
So that's put Talbot down to 15th place. And yeah, basically off the back really of this group. So he's got 9 laps to go. See if he can see how many places he can fight his way back through. But at the front, Richards still just shadowing Lewis Manley. In the corner of the screen, we've got Winter, who's just behind Chris Wilson. They're battling over 9th position.
Wilson made a slight recovery drive, obviously after being down in last after the first lap contact that happened.
So I'm wondering if Richards is just content just to follow Lewis around here, just sit there and take the points for second, maybe. We'll see. We're going to find out shortly.
If he's anything like me mentality-wise, he will sit there, yeah, definitely, but he won't sit there on the last lap.
You think he could be, he could be conserving his tyres now and waiting for the last few laps before he launches a full attack. Winter is swarming around all over the back of Chris Wilson into Paddock Hill Bend. And Wilson defending quite well there. Winter not quite close enough yet.
Box slash traverses the Subaru.
Yeah, so Winter the top Subaru at the moment, running there in 10th position.
Of course, as we're past the halfway point of the race now, really, and this is where usually the Subarus come stronger if they have fresher tyres.
And here we go, Winter up the inside at Surtees.
It's a bit naughty, makes a little bit of contact, but he makes it stick.
But he's through, and he's up into 9th position. So he's got a bit of a gap now in front of him to catch Richardson.
It's well controlled.
About 5 seconds behind they are, so we'll have to see if Winter can make any further progress in this race. To me, it looks like Richards is just, at the moment, at this stage of the race, just sitting behind Manley. He's got to that distance, and he hasn't really got any closer.
Yeah, he's taking a breather, isn't he? He's just taking stock of where he is. Knows he's got a big gap behind him. His teammates behind him as well, so he doesn't need to worry too much about any lunges going down if they do catch up with him. And his main rival's right in front of him. Why would he do anything silly at this point in the race?
Yeah, so he's in a nice position. He can see his title rival in front of him. He's got protection from behind, and he's probably thinking this is quite a nice position to be in at the moment.
Almost like a Sunday drive. Oh wait, it is Sunday.
Let's just see if, with 7 laps left, if he's going to really go for this win and try and win this race.
A great onboard camera here in your bottom right corner. This is looking back from Lewis Manley.
See how close Richards can get. Down this fast section, Pilgrim's Drop, down the hill towards this really fast right-hander at Hawthorne Bend.
It seems that Richards can close up on the brakes if he really wants to. So I think him holding station for now is probably a very good call by yourself.
Yeah, so 11 laps in, drivers will be thinking about, well, they're managing their tyres really all the way through the race, but they'll be trying to judge when they think they can push a bit harder, make it to the end of the race with some tyre still left. They've pulled away quite significantly from Willis. He's about 4 seconds behind these two. You can just see him in the background there emerging. They head through clearways for the 11th time.
And Ben Bennyworth keeping him honest, just behind Willis as well. It's like the final fight for the podium spot. There's a big gap back down to Harold now.
Yeah,
seems to have dropped off after the little fiasco. Here they are in picture here, down the bottom right corner.
Bennyworth just moving around in Willis's mirrors there a bit. I think trying to distract him.
Worked earlier in the Clios for him. He's trying it all over again now.
Yep. And Richards still very close to the back of Manley. No actual moves been made so far.
It's just the mind games of being in his mirror constantly, getting closer, moving away, getting closer again, just telling him I have got the speed into his corners if I need it.
Mm. Yes.
But Manley putting his car exactly where he needs to put it to make sure that he stays in front. I'm sure it will all kick off in a few more laps.
We know Manley's pretty good, doesn't often make mistakes. But the same can be said for Richards. That's why they're both at the front of this championship. Very fast, consistent drivers, both of them.
Both very fast. Again, you see him closing on the brakes, but just eases off the power just to not avoid going to the back of Manley and being too close to the car in front for the next corner.
Through Dingledell here. This fast kink. And then back to the right hand side of the track for this left-hander. Sterling's.
Black lines coming out the back of the car for Manley. Every time we're going through the corner, that's going to be them tyres.
So Manley is pushing, there's no doubt. Now Richards is starting to move around a little bit and Manley's going a little bit defensive. So this is the beginning of, I think, a move. Richards now feeling like he has the pace to be able to win this race if he can pass Manley. Manley defending into Paddock Hill Bend. Richards trying to go on the outside and get the undercut to get the inside for Druids, but no, Manley's got good speed through the corner.
Good to notice they didn't defend into Druids that much either. He left the door open because he thought he had enough speed out the first corner.
Yeah, he carried very good speed out of Paddock Hill Bend.
And they're the main two overtaking points on this track. The next one coming up at Surtees.
Yes, so what will Manley do here? A little bit defensive, I'd say.
Yep, in the middle of a track rather than towards the outside for the break-in, just to make sure he keeps him behind.
Good exit out of here. Richards is also very close still. Having a little look, just putting himself in Manley's mirrors. Ooh, brake very late. Yeah, there's no doubt Richards is definitely attacking now.
To come down towards Dingledell now as well. This is going to be close to the end of the lap. It almost seems like they're following each other, but it actually feels to me now that they're actually pushing to try and make sure, one, he doesn't get past, and for second person,
yeah,
he really wants to find that little open door where he can put his nose on the inside and just push his way through.
Lewis is slightly wide coming out of Sterling there, I think, and he's having to defend into clearways. Now this is where Richards will try to cut back and try and get the inside line for Paddock Hill Bend. But again, Lewis is very quick out the corners.
Lewis will probably stay tight here as well, coming to Paddock Hill.
He's going to have to defend, and he does defend the inside. Now, is Richards going to go on the outside? That surely can't be done. He's still there, but he will be on the outside for Druids hairpin.
He's still trying to tough it out.
Now is Manley going to walk? Manley gets a good drive out of Druids and yet clearly stays in front.
So the fight has started.
Yeah, and you can see the tactic Richards is trying to get Lewis to defend, and that compromises his exit so he can get the inside for the next corner. So
yeah, really Manley defensive again there for Surtees again.
Richards really trying to set the move up several corners before he actually pulls it. Very close again as they go down Pilgrim's Drop. Manley defending hard again into Hawthorns. Richards is trying to go around the outside, and he has got he's still there, and this is Westfield, another right-hander, very fast corner.
Side by side.
Richards is still there. Now, you can't go side by side through Dingledell, can you?
No, we're about to find out. Oh, he's
Richards
gone off a
on
bit.
The grass.
But they were side by side.
They were, but there just isn't the room, and We saw just Richards putting a couple of wheels on the grass, and that was just enough to allow Manley to stay in front. But Richards really pressurising, and look how Willis is catching them, and Bennyworth as well.
And now we'll find out whether Willis is playing the team game or whether he's going for glory for himself. I mean, they're very good friends, and I'm sure he will be trying to defend and ensure Bennyworth doesn't come through, but Bennyworth has still got the pace by the looks of it.
Again, Lewis defending into Paddock Hill Bend. And Richards is trying to get the inside, but Manley quickly covers it off.
Willis is almost with these two now.
So it does seem that Manley's holding Richards up because
of his defensive driving.
Yeah, he's defending so hard that it's slowing them both down. Really defending hard, but
Manley's
fair.
coping very well with the pressure, to be fair.
It's very good defensive driving actually from Lewis Manley. But it is slowing them both down, and Willis and Bennyworth are catching rapidly. We're on lap 15, and this is the same thing that Richard tried last lap to try and hang around the outside of these fast right-hand bends. Bit of contact between Manley and Richards. Richards is on the grass. Gets away with it. Manley's just staying in front. Manley's gone a bit wide. Now Richards is trying to get the inside, but Manley again covers. Still staying just in front. Richards can't quite get the overlap. And
there was a slight moment there where Lewis cut right across the front of Richards, and it looked a bit tight to us, but
right on the edge, I would say, of very firm defending.
But this is now a group of 4 cars for the lead.
Willis and Bennyworth are now there, and this will get very interesting now. We're on lap 16.
Bennyworth has nothing to lose. This is a flash in the pan for him. He's done a few rounds this year, and he's not in any team. He's not working with any of these guys, and he just wants to win the race.
And of course, Bennyworth, no ballast.
No ballast at all. That's correct. As Richards pulls alongside, no, he doesn't.
Manny was a little wide out of Druids, but it's okay. He's still in the lead. Now, what does Willis do here? Is Willis going to surely just stay where he is and just defend Bennyworth from attacking Richards, I would think, but we'll see.
He does seem to have fresher tyres than both the cars in front of him.
And Richards has dropped back very slightly from the back of Manley. So Willis is sort of almost looks the quicker of the two between himself and his teammate Richards at the moment.
I would almost say the quicker of the 3, considering how fast he's closed up. I know it was defensive driving, but he looks like he's well in line and not having any struggles keeping that car where he wants it to go.
Yeah, so it's possible that Willis has actually got the best tyres at this stage of the race.
Also riding on board on the bonnet cam with Willis here in the bottom right of our corner. It's quite a nice view that we've got here of Richards in front and Manley trying to keep the pace up.
You can see Richards sliding around quite a lot now. So I think that attacking Manley for those few laps has maybe really taken a lot out of Richards' tyres. Bennyworth still there, just lurking around in the Astra, waiting for a possibility to get through.
Only 2 laps to go.
Willis almost having a look at Richards there.
We can see here in our other picture down in the corner, we've got Ben Brown being chased by both the Pink Panther Racing teammates.
Ben Brown is now 5th, so he's had a great race. He's up 9 places into 5th place at the moment.
Just imagine where he could be if he'd have qualified higher up.
Absolutely, yeah. You'd have to think he could run at the pace of these guys. Now Richards is having to defend from Willis a bit.
Is Willis thinking, I could probably get second here now? I know he's my teammate, but I am clearly faster.
I would say at this stage, Willis is clearly the faster of the two. And of course, he's under a lot of pressure from Bennyworth. So what does he do? It's pretty clear now that Manley's gone. I mean, he's now 1.5 seconds ahead of Richards.
I think that's pretty clear cut now. Unless Manley starts making a mistake, I think this is going to be in the bag for him. This is a real testament to how much of a team player Ben Willis is if he just stays behind Matt Richards and lets him carry on all the way to the finish and manage to defend from Ben Bennyworth, who's been putting pressure on him the entire race.
Yeah, look at Willis defending there, just taking the inside line. He's very much not trying to overtake Richards. He's just trying to defend Bennyworth.
Yeah. He's doing a very good job of it as well. A perfect win man, you could say. Yeah, it looks like another picture of Ben Brown here. We've also got John Curry all over the back of his teammate Harold.
Bennyworth again, look, he's trying to go for the outside of Willis.
Is he going for the cutback?
We're on to the last lap, and Manley has pulled away quite significantly now. He's sort of on his own. It's all about this battle really over, if it is a battle, we're not quite sure.
Yeah, it's not too obvious for us, is it? Bennyworth tried to take a wide line to gain some speed out of that corner. He's really trying to get past.
Yeah, because Bennyworth wants to get on the podium.
Oh, flash of a light there. Is he letting him
flashing
through?
His lights? He is. Richards has let Willis through. Well, that's a strange move in the championship, because I don't really think Richards wants to give up any more points than he has to with Manley winning the race.
And he's put himself under the pressure of having to defend from Bennyworth in the last couple of corners, who's, like I said, got nothing to lose. He's not going to be worried about throwing it down the inside.
That's a very strange move by Richards, I would say, and risky. Just a few more corners to go, but as he said, Bennyworth has nothing to lose. He's going to attack, I think.
He's going very defensive, very defensive. Can he hold him off for the rest of the lap?
Willis has quickly scampered away. Bennyworth trying every which way he can to try and pass Richards here, and they're going to come into the last corner, and this could be a big moment.
He hasn't got the speed, he hasn't got the pace. I don't think he can do it from here.
Lewis Manley is exiting clearways, and he's going to win the first race of the day. And Willis is going to be second, and Richards looks like he's going to hang on, is he?
Is he going to? Is he?
It's very tight across the line. Oh, that's
so close.
And Richards just hangs on and finishes third, with Bennyworth fourth.
And Ben Brown in fifth for those 9 positions he's gained, followed by Harold, who just about holds off his teammate of Curry. Our first Subaru, is it, on the grid?
Yeah,
Winter. Comes home in 8th.
Richardson finishes 9th. Chris Wilson is 10th. Daniel Hyde here, coming across the line now just in front of Matt Davies for 11th and 12th place. And then Ollie Davies in the other Subaru here will be 13th. And Colin Talbot after that penalty, an incident with Daniel Hyde earlier on. Here he is, coming round to finish in 14th place. And then Edson Manguera here in the A-class. Mercedes will be our last and 15th place finisher. So yeah, tremendously exciting opening race, and very interesting. Be interested to ask what was going through Matt Richards' mind by letting Ben Willis through there.
I haven't got a clue. Honestly, I wouldn't do that myself. I don't know. Putting himself under pressure.
Well, in a couple of minutes we will have an interview with the top 3, and we will ask Matt Richards that very question. Okay, so here we are. We have Lewis Manley with us, race 1 winner. So, Lewis, the result you wanted, you led basically the entire way. You came under a bit of pressure from Matt Richards, sort of 2/3 of the way through the race, but then he seemed to drop back quite a lot.
Yeah, because his tyre was really dropping off, so I'm very happy to start like this. I know it's going to be a bit too late in the championship, but I'm obviously going to give it everything. So, and he came just about 3rd place on the line. So, and then he said, with a few laps to go, I pushed him off the track, so I clearly never, because I was on the inside line, he was on the outside. Obviously, if you're on the inside, you've got the advantage because you've got a shorter run to the next corner. So,
yeah, well, race direction saw no problem with it, so I think that answers that one. Richards made a slightly strange decision to actually, it seemed like he let his teammate Ben Willis through with about 2 laps to go, which seems slightly odd because he's given effectively more points, he's given away some points there, so you're still in this championship.
Well, to be honest, he probably didn't mind letting him through because he's got enough points to take this tyre because he can wrap it up in this next race. All he's got to do is finish basically where he finished now. So I've gained 5 in this one. So if I gain another 5, then it's over. So 20 is the maximum. I think he's 27 ahead of me now. So I've got to hope for him for a mistake and me to win again. Yeah,
so your objective just to go out race 2, win that, and just hope that something happens to Richards, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I've got much more difficult race to come up, obviously now with the maximum weight. That's obviously only my 2nd win of the season, so as he now carries 57, so I think if he gets past his teammate at the first set of laps, he could probably challenge me and get ahead of me because he's going to be 18 kilos lighter. So as I said, he can be champion for this track, for this race I should say. So I know it's going to be impossible for me to win this, so it looks like runners-up's going to be my best, I think.
Well, give me your best shot, Lewis, and best luck for race 2.
Thanks.
So we'll try and get Ben Willis to come and have a chat with us, if we can find him. And here he is. Just step in, Ben. So, good result for you. A 2nd place. You were performing the perfect teammate role until we were slightly confused towards the end when it looked like Matt Richards let you through.
Yeah, I came into this round obviously wanting to play the teammate game. I'm conscious that obviously Matt's going for the title. And I don't want to take points off him, but unfortunately in the last few laps I just realised I think I kept my front left alive a bit more.
You look like you had a lot more pace actually towards the end of the race than Matt and the guys around you. Really, it looked like your tyres, you were certainly quicker at that point.
Exactly. When I got past Harold and got into P3, kind of just went into tyre save mode. I realised I wasn't going to catch Richards and Manley at that point in the race. Just tried to keep some tyre left to the end, and then obviously it came back to us then, and I think if it'd been a lap earlier maybe we would have got Manley, but end of the day I wanted to play the teammate role, make sure Matt got as many points as possible.
So that's your plan for race 2 and race 3 is to just to support Matt and
at the end of the day
try and make sure he gets the title.
We work as a team, race as a team elsewhere, so I'm conscious he's going for the title. I'll do my best to help him, but equally I'm here for having a bit of fun and a good race. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, good result for you in race 2. You certainly got a lot of pace, so we're hoping for some more exciting races and race 2 and 3.
Brilliant, yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Cheers.
And now we'll bring in Matt Richards, our championship leader. So Matt, yeah, I mean, not a bad result for you, so he's finishing 3rd place. Lost a few points to Lewis, but you've got a bit of a buffer, so...
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, coming into the last couple of laps, I could see Ben was quicker than me, and I thought 32 points. If I stay where I am, I lose 3. If I go back another position, I lose 5. It's 2 points.
Yep.
With the weight to factor in as well, Lewis is going to go up, I'm going to go down. Much more likely to be able to attack him.
Okay, yeah.
I'm mainly just trying to push Lewis in the first race just to see where he's weak, where his tyres are going to go, where he's really going to struggle, just so I can see going forward. At the end of the race 2, I only need a 20-point gap. I think it's, 27 now? So, I mean, I've got 7 points to play with.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, all I've got to worry about is the championship. If I feel that the battle's going a bit rougher than I think, I can just follow him home.
Did you not think it was a bit risky, though, letting Ben in front of you and then having Ben Bennyworth behind you, who has got nothing to lose in the championship and is running no weight?
I could see Bennyworth's pace sort of towards the start of the race. That hurt the start of my race. I think I could have attacked Lewis a little bit longer and kept my tyres in check a little bit more.
Yep.
But once I sort of knew his pace around that area, I think towards the end of the race I could figure out how much tyre I had left, and at the end of the day, I was just backing Ben into Ben. So it would have been easier for me to try and pull Ben off of Ben a little bit.
Yep.
Than hold my teammate up and cost him more points.
Sure.
So I think, in the interest of a team result, then it was better to get a 2-3 than a 3-4 or a 2-4.
Sure.
And I think just the extra loss of 2 points, I don't think particularly hurts me that much. At the end of the day, it could come down to 1 point, but we don't know what the eventualities of.
We will find out what happens in these next 2 races. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
Me
Best
too.
luck.
Cheers.
Right, so short break, and then we'll be back for race 2. Okay, so race 2 coming up. You can see the drivers lined up in the order they will start this race. So it will be Lewis Manley as a result of his win in race 1, starting from pole position. Ben Willis will be alongside him. Matt Richards, championship leader, is starting 3rd, and Bennyworth in 4th. So we have done some maths in between the 2 races, and we've worked out that if Lewis Manley wins this race, then Matt Richards needs P4 or higher to win the championship in this race.
Doesn't sound like much of a challenge for Matt Richards, that one. 4th place is quite an average result for him, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, 4th place would be a poor result, really, looking at his season. But he has got the issue here with being on the same row as Ben Bennyworth, and then you've got Ben Brown and some of the fast guys behind who are not really worried about the championship. And I think Richards has put himself in a tricky position by letting Willis through and starting behind Willis. He doesn't have his rear gunner.
I actually think Richards doesn't mind too much. Speaking to him just a second ago, he may have come back into 3rd, but he's actually lost a lot of weight.
He does seem to be, very keen to get the weight off the car. When I interviewed him, he was talking about the advantage of having a bit less weight. So that's obviously this is the most important factor.
So not only has he lost weight, but Lewis has gained weight, technically. So it's going to be a complete switcheroo on who's got the most weight in their car.
Yeah, so Richards in race 1 had the maximum 75 and Lewis on 66, but now we'll have Manley on 75 kilos and Richards will be carrying just 58 as a result of his 3rd place. So we'll see how that affects this race as it goes on. But of course, there is, I think, the possibility that he could get involved in an accident, and that is what he absolutely must avoid.
There is also the option of Bennyworth trying to throw it down the inside like he did last time and holding him up at the start of the race.
Yeah, I mean, depending on who gets the best start, anything could happen. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here.
I'm very interested to see how Ben Brown does this race, because he started in 14th last time and he finished in 5th. Maybe if he gets away with the leaders, he can push his way to the front. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, tremendous race by Ben Brown in race 1, working his way through the field brilliantly to finish 5th. So, clearly he's got pace around this Brands Hatch GP circuit, and now he's starting in a much better position. So he'll be hoping to get a clean first couple of laps, and establish his position and see if he can challenge at the front, because I think he's got the pace.
Yeah, and let's see if the Subarus get off the line better this time round, because it seems like they don't go very well on this full track of Brands Hatch.
Yeah, so the Subaru is struggling a bit. The highest one of those is Winter, who's starting in 8th. You can see there in the red and white Subaru in sort of the middle of your picture. And in the corner screen, we're on board with Ben Bennyworth, who's starting from 4th position, just alongside Matt Richards. So we're waiting for the lights to go out. And it's a fairly good start. A lot of wheel spin from Willis, but it looks like it's fairly even with him and Manley as they head down to Paddock Hill Bend. Richards is on the inside of Bennyworth. Manley is very sideways going down the hill, and Richards is trying to attack him, but Willis has got into the lead. And Willis he's walking Manley out to the outside of the track there, and he's pushed Manley out, and Richards is alongside him, and so is Harold, I think, is in there as well. Bennyworth.
His elbows out at this point in the race. This could end messily.
And Richards has got past Manley now, and Richards is all over the place on the inside there.
Took a bit of a nudge from behind from Harold there, I think, but he held it.
That's Willis, and what Willis has done, it looks like he's slowed down. He's allowed Richards into the lead, and Manley, he's trying to hold Manley back, but Manley's alongside.
See if Willis can hold it around the outside of him now. Oh, contact.
So Richards is in the lead, and this is actually Willis alongside Manley here. Manley gets through.
Willis cuts back.
So it does look like there was a bit of quite a tightly choreographed move there between the teammates Willis and Richards, where Willis seemed to allow Richards into the lead and then hold Manley out on the outside of the corner. So clearly some tactics going on.
It doesn't seem like Willis is willing to stay in third, though. He's still trying to come back at Manley, although Harold is around the outside of him.
Bit of contact between Willis and Harold there. Harold's trying to go around the outside here. And there's Bennyworth as well, swarming around, and then Ben Brown, he's had a good, he's maintained his position.
Oh, and he swept across the front of him there.
Harold gets around the outside, and now Bennyworth is trying to do the same. Harold's into second position.
He's very defensive into Druids.
Third position, sorry. Richards is pulling away. He's very fast on that first lap.
He had the clear track and didn't have anyone to attack him after Surtees. He's just pulled away. And I think Bennyworth's got down the inside now, Ben Willis.
Bennyworth has got the inside line for Surtees here. Ben Brown's also having a little bit of a look. And then Ben Winter in the Subaru's there as well.
Can't believe Willis has held that round the outside. That's some great driving from him there.
Yeah, he really maintained momentum in the corner and got a good exit. Ben Brown is attacking Bennyworth now as they head down Pilgrim's Drop. Tucks back in. Pushing very hard, Willis, sliding the car a lot there. Here comes Bennyworth having a look. Can't quite do it.
Best thing is it appears that most of our drivers got away quite cleanly here today, so it's been quite a good start to this race too. A lot of action in his mid-pack. Oh, he's round.
Willis is off.
Was he helped?
He's hit the barriers pretty hard there, and that could be effectively the end of his race.
I think that was contact with Bennyworth, but we'll have to get a replay on that to see what actually happened to him. It's brought this group even tighter now.
But at the front, Richards is really pulling away quite strongly. He's over 2 seconds ahead of Manley already. But Willis, his rear gunner, is out of the race. Well, not out of the race, but he's down in 15th. There's a long way back from there.
It's a very long way back for him there, and you wouldn't expect him to be down there. Here's a replay.
So this is on board with Bennyworth. Oh,
he's
Willis
lost it himself.
Drops that left rear wheel onto the grass there, coming out of Dingledell, and around she went.
So apologise there to Ben Bennyworth for saying it was him tagging the back end. It was nothing, not his fault at all.
Nope. So Harold then third, Bennyworth fourth, Ben Brown fifth, Chris Wilson is sixth, Richardson seventh, and Ben Winter in the top Subaru is eighth.
Again, the Subaru seem to be struggling in this race. Ollie's up into 10th after starting down in 13th, but not making much headway.
So it's all working out perfectly for Matt Richards at the moment. He's out front, he's in front of Lewis Manley, and as it stands, he would be the champion.
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry too much about gaining that fourth position at the moment. Looks like he's planning to be imperious and just win this race to nail it home. Again, this is Ollie Davies under attack from John Curry, the Astra on the Subaru, which seems to be struggling this round for pace.
Yeah, and here is Matt Davies. It's Ollie Davies in the blue.
So I've just heard from race control that Matt Davies in the Callum Cripps Racing Subaru has been given a warning for not leaving enough room for competitors. Just to show you that we do have some strict rules here at SR which are held by our race director.
Yep, they don't miss anything. They're constantly reviewing what's going on. And here is Davies then defending very firmly from John Curry, who's down in 11th place. So Curry has not had a great start. He's down 4 places from his grid starting position.
I'm currently stuck in a Subaru sandwich.
And he is stuck down with the Subarus, battling hard. He's got Matt Davies right behind him, Ollie Davies in front of him.
Again, Dan Hines had a good start to this race. He's made 2 positions just in front of these guys.
Yeah, and Chris Wilson up 4 as well, look, to 6th place. So
he did have a good qualifying earlier on. We saw him quite fast in qualifying. He just had a bad incident going into Druids on lap 1, which he unfortunately came out worst out of everyone there. But he's showing the pace he's got, and up in 6th isn't too bad, and he's probably hoping he can chase down Ben Brown.
Yep, so this train pushing on. The Subaru sliding through Dingledell there, kicking up the dust. This is Ben Brown, and here's Bennyworth just in front of him in 4th position at the moment.
All seem to be concertinaing back together now after they spread out a little bit after the first couple of laps. It's all coming back down and settling down.
Yeah, Harold looking quite fast at the moment, and looks like he's closing in on the back of Lewis Manley.
From the first race, speaking with Ben Brown, he said that Harold and Curry suffered from tyre massively towards the end of the race, which is what I would expect from how aggressive their driving is at the start of each race. And it looks like he's gone for the same tactic, to be aggressive at the start, and it might not pay off towards the end of the race.
Yeah, so sliding the car around a lot at the start, it costs you at the end of the race because going to run out of tyre or have less tyre compared to the people you're racing around you.
Yeah, and saying you run out of tyre in these cars isn't even an understatement. It's a case of when it gets down to the low percentages, you just wash out wide at every corner. You have to lift off. You have to really lift off and have no speed going through the corners. These cars do not like it when you've got nothing left on the tyres.
Yeah, so you're basically almost helpless if you get into that position at the end, and if you're racing someone whose tyres are in much better condition, you are really going to struggle.
It's a case of even if you try and block the apexes, someone can just drive around the outside of you. They've got that much tyre left. They can just afford to carry a bit more speed and just gun it out at the exit. Just be a little bit later on the accelerator. Whereas whatever you do in the car without any tyres left, you're just not going to get a good exit.
So Ben Winter again looks sliding through the exit of Dingledell, just in front of Richardson there in the Astra, who's 8th, and then Hyde is 9th, just behind them. Here's Bennyworth again, and there's Harold, and it just does look like Harold is getting closer to the back of Lewis Manley slightly as the laps go by. It looks like he's just about half a second or so behind, between half a second and 1 second behind Manley at the moment. There's Bennyworth, Ben Brown having a little, it's pretty close to the back of him. Chris Wilson as well is there.
I think we're going to have a fight between these three pretty soon. It does look like Bennyworth is also catching onto the back of Harold as well a little bit as he goes wide. They all go wide, all follow each other off onto the AstroTurf.
I suppose it is easy to do that. You just tend to follow the line of the car in front, and often they make a slight mistake and you just follow them and do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Your eye just gets taken by it. You're like, I'll just follow their line through because it's obviously the best way to gain speed. You got a little bit of a draft and you can just catch up with them. So if they're going to go off, you're probably going to go off as well.
So yeah, this gaggle of Astras chasing down Lewis Manley at the moment. And behind them, yeah, quite close all the way through the midfield. Subaru sliding through Hawthorne Bend there. Davies right on the back of Hyde here. They head now to Dingledell. Hyde in the Astra taking quite different lines to Davies in the rear-wheel drive Subaru.
Looks like Ollie really wants to get past him now as he tries to throw that blue Subaru down inside.
He's putting a lot of pressure on Hyde here.
Across the start finish line to make their way onto lap 7, which Matt Richards is well into by now.
Yeah, Matt Richards at the moment 2.8 seconds ahead of Lewis Manley, so it's all going Matt Richards' way at the moment. And Davies defending there, I think, from John Curry in the Pink Panther Racing Astra.
John Curry has to be careful because he's got Matt Davies all over the back of him as well. Can't have that much space open on the inside.
Yeah, he's pushing very hard. He's right on the back of Ollie Davies. He's got Matt Davies very close. Matt Davies is trying to get the inside here into Surtees. And he's got through. He's very sideways.
Almost lost it there, and I think John's going to have it back through.
Yeah, he went very sideways. Like the cost him on the exit. And it looks like Curry's got back past. And in fact, Colin Talbot has also got past Davies. And Colin is attacking. Oh, he's attacking John Curry, and there's a lot of contact there.
Again, I think Race Direction will take a look at that one to see.
He was right alongside, but we'll have a look. And Curry did manage to just about stay on the track, but it's cost him a couple of places, and he's now down to 13th.
So here we are watching Chris Wilson with Ben Winter just behind him in the Subaru, who's up into 7th now, and he's trying to push his way past.
Yeah, so Ben Winter looking like he's got good pace at the moment, and he's driven up to the back of Chris Wilson here. So now we're having a look to see if he can force his way past somewhere. Lap 8, so 10 laps to go. Long way in this race yet.
Winter seemed to drop back quite a bit out of Paddock Hill, but he got the exit, so can't be all that bad. That Subaru looks like it's got pretty decent pace.
Yeah, it's definitely looking a lot better than in the first race for the Subarus. And definitely very evenly matched, this group of Bennyworth, Brown, Wilson and Winter. All very much running a similar sort of race pace. All just having a look at each other. Both defending and attacking at the same time, a few of these drivers.
So from the grid we've got MG, and then we've got a gaggle of Astras from third all the way down to sixth, followed by a Subaru, trying to put a dent into all those Astras that are on this track.
It's an interesting mix, yeah, all these midfield Astras. Look at Wilson really taking a lot of curb on the inside there at Westfield.
Curb, grass, anything that's on the inside of a track, he's taking it with him.
All over the apex. And yeah, he's very close to the back of Brown. In fact, they're all getting even more tightly bunched together, I'd say.
I wonder if this is Bennyworth struggling with the weight in his car.
Yeah, so of course Bennyworth, having finished in 4th position at first race, will be carrying 58 kilos of ballast.
58 kilos is a lot to put on if you've had no weight on there at all in the first race.
And it changes the handling balance of the car quite a bit as well.
Yeah, so he won't be able to brake anywhere near as late as he was before. He probably won't even be able to turn in like he used to. And it's probably just catching him out, and the tyre wear will be a lot more as well. So he'll be wearing a lot faster than he expected it to. So he's probably having to manage his race now a lot more.
Yeah, so he's probably grappling with that as we speak. And Ben Brown has got a little bit of he's got up the inside perhaps, but he's on the right-hand side for the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend. So Bennyworth stays in front. Wilson and Winter also side by side. Wilson just fending off Winter there.
Also Talbot and Matt Davies side by side in our picture-in-picture.
Davies, yeah, all over the curb on the exit there. Contact between him and John Curry.
I don't know whether the race director will like that one. He was in front, but didn't leave any room whatsoever.
It's certainly getting rough down there, that's for certain.
I didn't even notice that Ben Winter had made it fast. I missed that one completely. And also Ben Brown's made it past Ben Bennyworth there.
Yeah, there's so much. We're trying to look in two places at once, but it looks like Ben Brown has pulled the move on Bennyworth.
Round the outside, an impressive move from Ben Brown. We saw how much pace he had in the first race. He just slowly picked his way through the grid. He's bided his time behind Bennyworth, and now he feels it's time to go. Let's see if he can catch the front three.
Yeah, absolutely, having a great couple of races so far. And in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, it looks like Davies has passed Curry. Curry's attacking. There's more contact there, slight.
I think that's slightly turning across John Curry. I wouldn't blame John Curry too much for that one, but it's all sorted itself out, and he's made the pass stick.
So Davies then. Matt Davies up into 12th position. And Ben Brown then, yes, having a great couple of races so far. He's now up into 4th position in front of Bennyworth. Winter is up to 6th. Chris Wilson is now 7th.
I was about to say Harold's on the back of Manley. He just made a mistake there and went off the track.
Yeah, so these guys, Harold pushing really hard, I think, to try and close that gap to Lewis Manley. Meanwhile, Richards has got the lead up to 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, big strong move there from Winter down the inside of Bennyworth there with a Subaru. Certainly not lacking in pace this time round. He's made 3 positions up into 5th. How many more can he make before the end? Ben Brown's made a bit of a gap. He's going to have to try hard to catch back up with him.
Yeah, Ben Brown showing good pace and now pulling away in that 4th position, but Winter has got that Subaru into 5th. Bennyworth struggling a bit.
Yep, definitely struggling a little bit, and I can see Richardson catching back up onto the back of this group as well now. Obviously having a slow start and building himself into this race.
Yep, just in the background, the green and white Astra there. He's getting ever closer to this little gaggle. So Richardson 8th. Oh, and Davies and Hyde are both on the grass there, coming out of Dingledale.
Hyde has been defending for his life most of this race. He's up into 9th.
He was defending on the grass.
Yes, defending everywhere he possibly can. He's taken the inside line again here into the last corner onto the straight. Can only get the cut back.
Ollie Davies trying everything he can to try and just find an opening somewhere. Colin Talbot as well there, right behind. Swarming around. Talbot's having a bit of... Oh, that was close going in there. And
Colin's
Davies
taking
is wide.
advantage.
It looks like Talbot's got the inside here as they go up to Druids.
Oh.
Contact again.
Oh,
great touring car racing here. Talbot's trying to get the inside of Hyde, and there's definite contact there. Hyde's managed not to spin. It's Winter
spun it up Surtees.
Bad news for Winter there. He's cost him. He's down to 8th position, but this battle is raging, and Talbot is now at the inside of Davies, and he's up into 10th place for the time being, maybe for a corner or so. Hyde still at the front of this little group, and there's the Winter who's recovering from that spin. Talbot is up the inside of Hyde. They're leaning on each other very firmly here.
God, this could end in tears. They're both not willing to give up any space on this track at all.
And Hyde is wide, so is Talbot. Oh, they're all on the grass. Davies is up the inside again, and there's John Curry as well. Curry and Talbot are going through Dingledale too wide. That's not possible.
And Talbot attacking Daniel Hyde. He's now at the back of this group, and Ollie's got to try it all again to try and get past Hyde. Back to exactly where he was before, and here's a replay of Winter. I think this is going to Surtees. Tries to go to the inside of Ben Brown. Oh, slight bit of contact.
It's a tricky place to pass. They're going in there. It's a long corner. There's lots of different lines into it. It's always a risky one going up there, I think. But, yeah, it's cost Winter a bit. He's down to 8th. He's just in front of this group here. Davies still attacking Hyde, doing everything possible, but Hyde just defending for his life.
He's gone out wide, though.
He's been nudged wide. Davies walks Hyde out, and Davies has lost it on the grass, on the exit.
Race direction will take a look at that one, I'm sure, and we'll be fed back to. We'll have to wait for a while to hear what the outcome is of that one.
I think that's the problem with the rear-wheel drive Subaru. You get out on that grass on the exit and the power on, and it's quite easy to spin the car. So we'll see if he was helped round or whether he...
I think it's a bit of both there. I think Dan didn't want to give the position up and leant quite hard on Ollie Davies, and Ollie leant back on him as well. Didn't want to give up the place. Again, I wouldn't like to call it. We'll leave that to Mike, our race director, to see what he says.
So Hyde still there in 9th, still at the head of this group, despite everything that's been going on. It's been getting increasingly frantic and rough, this battle.
And now John Curry's prepared to take his turn. You're going to have to learn the hard way how hard it is to get past Hyde in this race.
Yes, John Curry's turn to attack Daniel Hyde and see if he can force an opening.
Whilst all this is happening, you've still got Francis Harold, who's still right on the back of Manley. He hasn't dropped back from him yet.
No, yeah, Harold definitely be able to run the pace at the moment of Lewis Manley. And Richards still, he's just easing away. He's 5.5 seconds in the lead at the moment, Matt Richards. So
haven't forgotten about him. He's just so far up the road that we've not really seen him much on the stream. Also, we've had all this action going on.
So, John Curry attacking Hyde down Paddock Hill Bend. Can he get the inside line? Hyde defends into Druids. Hyde's gone a bit wide. Curry goes very wide. Colin Talbot is still there, just behind these two. And then we've got Mangera. He's also sort of there as well. And Matt Davies in the Subaru as well. So Curry exiting Surtees there, trying to get a good run down this long straight. He's swarming around. He's not quite close enough, I don't think. Hyde just trying to keep it tidy. Under a huge amount of pressure, as he has been for a huge amount of this race. Constantly fending somebody off.
Yeah, and this race, I just had a quick break, as John Curry gets a little bit squiffy and going through there.
Very sideways.
Lap times are all very similar. We've got 32.8s, 32.7s, 32.6s. It's all across the board.
Incredibly close racing in this Touring Car Championship. And now Curry's trying to go on the outside. There's a bit of contact.
He holds on to it.
But he's just going to put himself on the outside for Paddock Hill Bend. I don't see how he can help unless he can get Hyde to defend and then cut back and get the inside for Druids. I think that's his plan. He's trying it, but he hasn't quite got the overlap. So Hyde defends the inside again.
He keeps leaving the door open mid-corner, though.
Curry's trying to go through the gap. He's pushed him wide, but again, he's on the outside now for for Graham Hill Bend.
I think Dan needs to be a bit more careful because he's tending to close the door a bit when people are alongside him. It's all right to be very strong defensively, but you have to leave room for the car if they're inside. Oh, slight bit of contact there, block.
Yep, Curry just pushing Hyde through the corner there. Desperate to get a better exit. And again, side by side, down Pilgrim's drop. Hyde on the inside.
It's clear to see that Curry has got more pace. He's just finding it difficult to get past.
He's going to try the outside. We have seen some people make that pass around the outside there, but you've got to keep it going for about 3 corners. It is possible, but Curry doesn't seem to want to try it, or
I think after
doesn't
what
think he can
happened
do it.
in the Clios, he's probably a bit hesitant to try and hang it round the outside in case something happens.
I think Hyde would probably have him straight off into the grass if he tried that, actually. It'd be a brave move, because Hyde is defending for all he's worth.
You can see mid-corner, we've got so much more pace than Hyde has. He seems to get it stopped in the corner and then tries to fire out, where everyone else tries to carry a bit more corner speed. And that's where he's frustrating them all, because they just can't get past if he's into the corner quite fast.
Yeah, Hyde, he does get in and out of the corners quickly, so yeah, it's difficult to pass someone who has that ability.
As we see on our picture-in-picture, this is Willis trying to do a recovery drive as he gets up the inside of Manguera, and that puts him up into 13th.
Yeah, so the comeback has begun, but unfortunately only 3 laps left.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's unfortunately, that's what happens at the start of a race. You always get a bit of a frantic mess at the start, and if you're involved in it, it becomes very frustrating for you. You've just got to try and put it out your mind and just crack on with the rest of the race.
So still this battle rages between Hyde and Curry. And they're doing decent lap times because they're pulling away from the guys behind them, actually. They've dropped... Willis is now attacking Colin Talbot in the corner of your screen. So he's attacking for 12th position.
Manguera is trying to get a bit of the action as well, trying to hang on to the back and hoping that there'll be a door open that he can just shove his car into.
Yeah, and still Hyde continues to defend from John Curry on lap 16. Matt Richards leads this race by over 6 seconds now from Lewis Manley, who's got Francis Harold very close behind him. And then we've got Ben Brown sort of on his own in 4th position. Chris Wilson, Richardson 6th, Ben Winter is 7th, Bennyworth is 8th. And then this battle here, Hyde and Curry fighting over 9th position. Just behind them, Matt Davies. Hyde again, taking the tight line round Druids. Curry trying to get an overlap.
Hyde kept it a bit tighter that time round Druids. Didn't leave a door open mid-corner for Curry to try and shove it down the inside. He's learning as the race goes on.
Yep. He's keeping that door firmly shut at the moment.
Oh, Willis and Talbot having a bit of door banging going on there.
Yes, Willis is very close to the back of Talbot. He's trying to get the Manguera as well. He's taking advantage of this and has got all. He's really pressuring Willis now.
There goes John alongside Daniel Hyde again. Is he going to go for the cutback this time?
He's trying to get the cut back, but he can't. Hyde shuts the door. So close to getting that. Through Dingledale. I think John Curry's got to have a lunge here somewhere. He's just got to have a lunge on the brake somewhere.
He has going to have a lunge.
A
Just
full
hit the
block
back
pass.
of him there. Unfortunately, the block pass can't happen because Hyde just keeps sitting it on the apex, so there's no way through.
He's trying the outside now. He's tried every conceivable option.
And every time he's getting held up, this is just bringing Matt Davies back into it. And
Matt Davies is really catching them very quickly. He's basically with them now.
Around the outside.
Curry's very wide.
Oh, he's gone too deep. He's gone way too deep.
And this could allow Davies a chance. Now Curry's having to defend. And this is great news for Hyde because now Curry's under attack from Davies. This is allowing Hyde to get away a little bit.
In our small picture, oh, Curry's off, and that's Matt Davies up the inside.
Matt Davies is alongside. He's got the inside line for Surtees. And he has made the pass. Now, can he get out the corner well enough? It looks like he has.
And in our smaller picture, we've got Wilson being chased down by Will Richardson. As we said earlier, he had a slow start and built into the race. He's currently attacking for 5th position.
Yeah, so we've got Ben Brown in 4th, very much completely on his own. And then we've got here Wilson and Richardson in the corner of your screen battling over 5th position. So good drive by Richardson so far, actually.
Yeah, very good drive by Richardson. He's made up 3 places, and Wilson's made up 5 places.
Wilson's made up 5, so strong drive by both these drivers. And John Curry must be feeling quite frustrated right now, having spent so long trying to get past Hyde and now finds himself behind the Subaru of Matt Davies.
It may work out in his favour, you never know. It could be the case of what's happened in other races this morning.
We're on the final lap, so maybe we can see where our leader has gone.
And this is in our corner, Bennyworth alongside Talbot. Bennyworth is down in 13th.
So here we are. Here is Matt Richards on his final lap. And all he has to do is complete this lap, and he will win the championship for the first time. Through
and Hyde, as I said earlier, it might work out in his favour. All contact.
Curry has got to the front of this group as soon as we looked away from it for a split second. Curry is now at the head of it.
I thought it might work out in his favour because he'd let Matt Davies attack him, and then when they start banging doors, John Curry could slip through. That's probably what's happened.
Exactly what's happened, yep. So now Curry has got into that 8th position. As Matt Richards now comes down to clearways for the final time. He's just got one corner to go, and then he will cross the line to win race 2 of the day, and he takes the Simply Race Touring Car Championship for the first time.
And a flash of a lights, that's what we like to see.
And there it is, our Season 2 champion, Matt Richards. Fantastic drive all season, and richly deserved there. He drove a perfect race, and he's won the race by some distance. And there's contact and carnage in the background. It looks like Winter has spun on the final lap, final corner.
That looked like a contact when he was trying to overtake Chris Wilson, should I say. And
So
let's not take anything away from Lewis Manley. He came home in second that race after defending from Harold all race. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough points left.
Manley did everything he could. He threw everything he had at it, but at the end, Matt Richards' tactic of taking that bit less ballast has worked perfectly for him, and he's driven a great season, and he's crowned it by winning this race too, and taking the championship with one race left to go today. So, yeah, congratulations to him.
Some aggressive defence work from Dan Hyde has made him keep that 9th position that he had been so proud to hold on to earlier in the race. He's managed to keep it there, followed by Matt Davies and then Ben Willis, who's recovered up to 11th.
And Manley and Richards then a formation finish for the 2 championship rivals. They've been battling all season long over this championship. And Lewis has to hand the baton over to Matt Richards for this season. And Francis Harold there finishing in 3rd position in this race, cementing his 3rd place in the championship as well. So I guess what we're going to see is a gloves off race 3 with no championship on the line anymore, and some terrific racing still to come, I'm sure. So we'll take a short break, and then we'll grab some words. Okay, so here we have, take a seat, Matt Richards, you've done it? You've won the championship. Great race win. How are you feeling about that?
That was fun. Enjoyed that.
Yeah. You look like, regarding the race, it looked like once you got in the lead, it was fairly comfortable.
Yeah. As soon as first couple of corners, I knew what I had to do. I just knew that I had to get in front of Lewis, just to get that mental edge on him. If he's behind me, then he's going to have to work harder. And yeah, I managed to get through, and just from there, just tried to control the tyres because I had an issue in race 1. And
the first couple of corners, we couldn't tell whether it was a choreographed move or it looked like Ben Willis was very helpful in allowing you to get into that position. I think it was maybe just the way it worked out, or was it sort of a plan?
It wasn't planned. The ideal plan was that Ben would get through on Lewis, pull away a little bit, I'd get through on Lewis, catch up to Ben, and then we'd assess the situation from there, whether I needed the extra points or to go from there. I don't know what happened on the inside. I ended up on the outside into Druids. I saw Lewis run wide. I'd been good on the brakes, and I thought, I can just try and pinch it here. I managed to swoop into the apex, and it worked.
Yeah, it seems to work perfectly for you. So after that, fairly uneventful race for you. And just really quite typical of your whole championship, really. Clearly had the pace and were able to maintain it and not make any mistakes. So you must be really pleased.
Very, 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 very pleased. Like I said, just controlling the tyres, looking at the lap times, trying to be as consistent as possible. I didn't want to go all out and push every single lap and trying to build a gap. I just wanted to make sure that I had the gap there, look after the tyres, and if I needed to push, then go from there. So just a perfect race, really.
Yeah. So then race 3 then coming up is no championship on the line, just gloves off. Every man for himself, full on fight.
Well, I mean, it'll be harder to attack with the weight, but at the end of the day, one of us wants to go away with a winner's trophy as well. So, yeah, just see what happens.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the championship win, and best of luck for race 3. Right, we're going to do the draw for race 3, the reverse grid draw. We have a special guest with us. You are
Kaylee.
Kaylee, right? Welcome to the commentary box. You're going to draw the reverse grid for us.
Come on, be nice
so
to
pick
me.
a number out.
I'll try.
And hold that. So it is the number 7. So we can see number 7. So Ben Winter will start on pole position. So that's a good number. Well done. Thank you, Kaylee.
Thank you.
That's a good one. So we've got plenty of cars reversed on the grid. So you'll be 7th.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do from there.
Yeah. So best of luck for this one.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. Okay. So Lewis Manley, second place in that race. Obviously, championship over now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be over from this race, so big congratulations to Matt on his title. He really has outpaced me throughout the season, so nothing I can do today. I'll obviously have to surrender my title to him, so credit to him. He drove a perfect race, but the start really did me, because got to start okay, but through paddock I just got very sideways, so I lost momentum, so that's how Willis got ahead of me at first, and Richards down Graham Mill Bend, and then I knew Willis was just going to let Richards go. And I managed to get Willis around the outside at Surtees, which was nice. So I'll see. He was just pulling away. That's why he was light on weight. So to prevent second place, because Harold was close behind throughout the race. So I thought he was going to give me a challenge on the last lap, but thankfully he didn't. So credit to Matt Richards. He's won the title now, so he'll be very happy. That's for sure. Yeah.
So race 3 to come. Championship not an issue anymore. Should be an interesting race. You think race 3?
Should be, because their pressure's now going to be all off. So
yeah,
obviously still the start will be a bit of pressure because you don't want to jump it. So just got to hopefully have a nice race 3 and finish on a high. Yeah, see if you can win this round overall. Okay. Hopefully, yeah. Okay, thanks Lewis. Cheers. Best luck race 3.
And now we'll see if we can find our third place driver, Francis Harold. Here he is. So Francis, yeah, good pace in that race, and you were putting Lewis under quite a lot of pressure for most of that race.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the first race. Take a bit of weight out of the Astras and it comes alive a bit. First race was very hard on the tyres. You 5-6% lap tyre wear with an 18-lap race. You're running on your rims by the end of it. So
yeah, sure.
There was a lot better consistency and pace this race. Thought about it with a few laps to go, try and challenge Manny a little bit, but he was saving his tyres as well. So maybe if I pushed a little bit earlier, possibly could have got him, but happy for third. I think that pretty much secures third in the championship now.
Yeah, I think it pretty much does. We haven't done the maths yet, but it looks like that's definitely good news for you in your third place in championship, which has got to be it's a pretty good result considering the calibre of the drivers in front of you. You know?
Yeah, there's been some unfortunate incidents I've been on the receiving end of this year, and some silly mistakes on my part that have cost me as well. So to still come away with third, I'm pretty happy with that. Come back next year a little bit stronger and maybe a little bit more practice, and we'll try and challenge the top two.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, race 3 to come where should be an interesting race with no championship to think about anymore.
Yeah,
it'll just be a
one-off
race where we can hopefully get some more great racing.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be carnage.
Great. Thanks, Ross.
Cheers.
Okay, so we will take a short break and then the grid will be formed up for our final race of the day. Welcome back, and grid formed up for race 3 of the day, final race. So championship all decided. Now we've got a one-off race where I'm sure there'll be plenty of action in this one, and the reverse grid race, of course. So as we saw earlier, Ben Winter in the Subaru there, and the red and white Subaru will start from pole position. Alongside him will be Will Richardson in the green and white Astra. And then Chris Wilson, Ben Brown on the second row. Francis Harold will be 5th alongside Lewis Manley. Our new champion Matt Richards will start 7th from this one. He'll be alongside John Curry. Daniel Hyde is going to be in 9th position with Matt Davies 10th. Ben Willis will start in 11th place, so a bit of a comeback required for him. Edson Manguera will be 12th. Ben Bennyworth will be down in 13th. Colin Talbot 14th, and Ollie Davies will start 15th. So always produces a very exciting race, the reverse grid race, as we get some different drivers running up at the front, and quite often some carnage.
Definitely. A couple of things that I'm quite excited to see in this race. I want to see how the Subaru copes at the start of the race. It's been struggling quite a lot all day, so it'll be interesting to see that at the front of the grid for the first time today. Also, let's keep an eye on Ben Brown. He is having a hell of a day. Really great pace, really consistent. His race 1 was absolutely stunning, making all those positions early on. And finally, let's keep an eye on Ben Bennyworth as well, down in 13th. I'm very surprised that he dropped that far down. I'm not really sure what happened.
Struggled with the weight on the car, I think. On race 2, he had a lot more weight than race 1, so
but he was very far down, like very far down. Like I believe he must have made a mistake at some point in the race, because I didn't see any mistakes from him, but the gap just seemed...
Yeah, I think something happened to him maybe later in the race whilst we were watching the other battles. So yeah, definitely a driver who we think can improve their starting position and make their way through the field. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one. Final race of the season. Nothing to lose, everything to possibly gain, and obviously the battle raging to see who can win this round overall. I believe that Lewis Manley currently has the points lead as a result of his results in the first 2 races. So
yeah.
Manley starting 6th, we'll be looking to see how many places he can pick up.
And with him starting in front of Richards, that's quite an advantage for him to maybe secure that victory today. But we saw in the last race Lewis getting very squirrely at Paddock Hill Bend, so anything could really happen. But let's wait for the lights as the final car makes its way into the grid slot. And now we wait for the lights. Final race of the year. So it's a good one.
Okay, so Ben Winter on pole position there, and they're away, and it looks like a good start by the Subaru. He's got a bit of a better jump than Richardson, who's struggling a little bit. Ben Brown has gotten to the outside as they head to Paddock Hill Bend, and Chris Wilson as well on the inside. Contact in the midfield there, and it looks like Manley is going through the gravel at Paddock Hill in the background. So Lewis Manley had a terrible start there. We'll have to have a look to see what happened. But Winter leads it, Richardson's 2nd, Chris Wilson's 3rd, John Curry is 4th, Ben Brown 5th. Then we've got Matt Richards and Francis Harold. Sideways there, contact between, looked like Willis and Hyde. Hyde has spun. So already quite a bit of carnage up and down the field. And but Ben Winter has managed to maintain the lead and has a little bit of a gap over Will Richardson as they head down Pilgrim's Drop. Further back we can see there is Ben Brown with Richards just behind him. A little bit of a gap then back to Harold and Willis. There's John Curry. Here's Chris Wilson in the Cam Sport Ice car. He's running in 3rd position at the moment, just behind Richardson. And here's a replay of what happened at the start. This is Lewis Manley in the centre of your picture, and it looks like one of the Pink Panther cars just ran into the back of Manley there.
Yeah, if you caught the start of that, Matt Davies was on the inside of Francis Harold, sorry, on the outside of Francis Harold, and as Harold went in front, he came across Davies, which pitched him basically into Manley. So it was one of those really frustrating moments of 2 cars having their own accident and then just taking out a completely innocent bystander.
So yeah, Manley down to, he's currently in 11th place, so not totally at the back, and I'm sure we'll see him work his way through as the race goes on. There's a Subaru on the grass here, that's Ollie Davies.
That's a shame for Ollie Davies. I don't know if you saw his start, but he went from last and gained about 4 positions by the time he was at turn 1 before the action had even kicked off. He just went straight through the middle of some of the cars, just perfect getaway. Very hard to not wheel spin the Subaru as well, so extremely impressive start from him. So it's a shame to see him make that mistake. As we're now watching, is that Richards with
Richards.
Oh no, it's Willis, sorry. Oh no, it is Richards.
Willis, then Harold, then Richards. Oh, and Willis and Harold both on the grass there.
Harold just follows him off the track, very easy to do, and that's going to set Richards up for an overtake. And Lewis is actually not too far back. He went a bit wide there, but he's not far behind.
No, Manley battling hard with Matt Davies there. In fact, Matt Davies has just got back in front. But pretty good recovery already from Manley. He's battling over this 9th position, and he's still very much in the pack. So still a lot to play for. Davies defends into clearways from Lewis Manley, who's going for the undercuts. He's trying to get underneath him on the exit. He hasn't quite managed it this time. There is Ben Bennyworth just behind Manley. And then Ollie Davies in the blue Subaru had that moment at Druids on the last lap. Ben Brown has set the fastest lap with a 33.0. So Ben Brown running 5th at the moment. So we've still got Winter in the lead. Chris Wilson is second, John Curry third. Here's Harold and Richards still battling away. Harold defending, coming out of Druids. And in the background you can see the Subaru of Matt Davies going a bit sideways, coming out of Paddock Hill, Graham Hill Bend, with Lewis Manley right behind him. Very wide again for Davies in the Subaru. So a real train developing in the midfield here. Here's Harold and Richards. And Manley is alongside Davies as they go down towards Hawthorne Bend.
He's going to brave it round the outside. No, he thinks better of it. You don't really want to do something like that. The rear end of that Subaru has been kinking like a donkey all day. So maybe that's one of the reasons that Lewis was a little bit cautious there.
It does look a bit of a handful at times, this Subaru. It's great to watch, but it's not the fastest way around the track.
And is that Bennyworth on the grass? He just went a bit wide.
Bennyworth wide coming out of Dingledell. And Davies, making all sorts of shapes. That Subaru into all sorts of shapes, trying to defend from Lewis Manley here. Here's Ollie Davies attacking Bennyworth. Sideways again, Ollie Davies there. Winter's now set the fastest lap, a 32.3. So Winter having a great race so far at the front.
The Subaru's come alive. Who would have thought it? And as we look up the inside, the other Subaru up the inside of Ben Bennyworth. Great move, but now Bennyworth's at the inside for Druid. Just needs to outbrake him, but no, he gets the job done. He backed out of that very early.
Great. He must have braked very late there, Ollie Davies, because he just, it looked like Bennyworth was going to get him, but no.
It almost looked like Bennyworth gave up on the attempt that it was so late on the brakes.
Yeah. So the Subarus are starting to come to life, perhaps, in this race 3.
Interesting to see, because the weather has been basically replicated for all 3 races, so it's not like been a massive change in temperature or stuff like that. There is a lot of wind direction changes today. The wind is a little unpredictable, so that could be causing some random effects on the pace of the cars. But all day we've seen the Subaru struggling. All of a sudden Ben Winter's in the lead in clean air, and he's just pulling away.
And he set the fastest lap of the race so far by some margin, with a 32.3. So Ben Winter at the moment looking good in first place. He's got a lead of he's got all of quarter of a second lead over Chris Wilson. According to my data here.
Started to come alive, as we can see here, as we now join the front battle.
Here it is, so actually the front 3 pretty close, the front 4 pretty close. There's Winter, there's Wilson, there's Curry just behind, and Richardson in 4th position. So yes, very close at the front, and really shaping up to be a brilliant race this, with only 5 laps gone. A hell of a lot has already happened. Winter's slightly wide perhaps there, but he seems reasonably comfortable at the moment. Chris Wilson there in the Camsport Ice Astra with John Curry in 3rd position.
this is anyone's race at the moment, but what Winter needs to do is just look after these tyres for this first part of the race, and then at the end of the race the car will come alive once again, I believe. Being rear-wheel drive compared to these front-wheel drive cars, there's a lot of oversteer that I'm seeing in the Astras at the moment, which you just don't get in the Subaru. As long as you're smooth on the power with the Subaru, you will look after those tyres just fine.
Yeah, so the longer into this race that Winter can stay in the lead, the better his chance of winning it, you'd say.
Yes, and already you can see he is starting to increase his gap, but that could be because Curry is starting to up the ante on Chris Wilson.
Yes, he's definitely attacking Wilson quite firmly now. He knows he's got Richardson not far behind him, and look at the gaggle behind. All a real train of cars behind this group. So everybody's attacking and defending at the same time. And Curry,
go ahead.
And Curry definitely, as he was in the in race 2, he's definitely on the attack and wants to get past Wilson as quick as possible.
Definitely a factor of reverse grid races, this, where you have a lot of the faster guys a bit further down, and then they're kind of being concertinaed up, hence the train. Although it's interesting that Matt Richards has only just recovered back to 7th place, which is where he started the race. I thought he would go quite forward. I know he's got a fair bit of weight on, but his pace with weight beforehand has been extremely impressive. So it's very surprising to see him down in 7th still. Lewis still in 10th place as well. Not really there in terms of pace in the cars in front of him, which is interesting to see.
I think we've got a field at the moment that their lap times are so close. Yeah, the weight is making quite a difference in terms of actually being able to pass someone. So they can run each other's pace, but overtaking is a different matter.
Yeah, as we see Curry really eyeing up the inside of Wilson's Astra now. He's all over the place behind him, trying to distract the driver in the mirrors. Maybe force a little dummy move here and there as they come on the exit through Dingle Dell to the second to last corner here, which is a really good fun corner when you get it right. But now Curry's defending to the car behind, which is Richardson. And look at Richardson up the inside of Clearways, thinks better of it. I don't think that would have ended well if he would have gone with that move.
No, it's really bunching up quite a lot, and Richardson and Brown are side by side here as they come down the start-finish line to start lap 7. And Brown, I think, has got the move done. He's passed Richardson there, so Brown into 4th position. Richardson's trying to come back.
But let's also look here. I thought Curry had sent it up the inside there. Richardson's back through up the inside. Very tight stop here. Leave a bit of space, guys. We've also got the 2 MGs of Richards and Willis. Richards has gone in front of Willis as well in all the action.
So Brown has managed to retake Richardson.
And now Richards up the inside of Richardson as well. He sneaked that from out of nowhere. And now he's up the side of Brown as we have Willis running wide in the background. All of a sudden the MGs have just woken up and thought, you know what? We want to get a victory in this race.
They have definitely come to life here, and Richards has now got past Richardson, and now he's going to set about to see what he can do about Ben Brown.
And Manley's finally made his way up to 9th place. He's finally got past Davies. Now he's on the tail of Willis.
Curry and Wilson are side by side here. Curry's got the inside line, has he, for Dingle Dell?
Oh, very sideways from both of them. It runs Wilson off onto the grass. Curry has a look. Ben Brown was already there, and it's taken Ben Brown out of the race. I feel that race control has to say something to John Curry there. He moved his direction completely under braking. It's one of my least favourite things to see in racing at the moment. It's become very accepted, and I don't think it's right because it just fully wiped Ben Brown out there.
Yeah, it looked like the Ben Brown was just left with nowhere to go, and just was in a position he couldn't get out of through no fault of his own. But race direction will have a look at it. As a result of all that, it means that Wilson is 2nd, Curry is still 3rd.
And Richards is now in 4th place. And we've got Francis Harold sideways into Druids. Completely missed what happened to him there. I'm going to assume there was a little bit of help there. You don't tend to lose it under control into Druids. I've got a feeling that's another move in under braking, though, because how else would you...
It could be. It definitely looked odd. It didn't look like a place you would crash on your own. It looked like someone's turned him round, but we'll see.
It was a very good Tokyo Drift impression, I'll give him that, but not what you want to see around Brands Hatch in a touring car.
So this now means that Willis is 5th, Richards is 4th, Willis is 5th, Manley is 6th. And
So
Matt Davies up to 7th.
Matt Davies, absolutely great race at the moment. Richardson is the big loser at the moment, losing 6 places in the race so far. Big shame for him. He was doing really well defending the positions earlier on, but maybe he's just pushed those tyres a little too hard early on.
Yeah, and our big winner so far is Willis, who's up 6 places. So, yeah, the MGs working their way through. The 3 of them, really, Richards, Willis and Manley, are all working their way to the front of this race after 8 laps.
And I can sense Richards really attacking these 2 on this next lap. Maybe he's going to see what Curry does first into Paddock Hill Bend. Curry has a look around the outside. If he can hold it around there, that'll be an extremely impressive overtake. He's not going to get the job done there, but he is almost side by side. He can't really do anything in Druids, and now he needs to watch his inside because Richards is there. Richards will just take the inside line. He's going to have a much better run now going into Graham Hill as Curry runs quite wide onto the Astro, but now he has the inside line. He clips Wilson, and they somehow all 3 managed to keep going. Wilson's on the grass. Now they're 3 wide going. You need to back out of that, guys. That's not going to end well. They somehow managed to get round, and now Willis is up the inside of all of them.
Unbelievable racing here. 3 wide. They went all the way around.
And now they're getting argy-bargy. I can hear some shouting going on. They need to leave some space. This is getting pretty ridiculous.
And Curry is, well, it's robust. I think that's how you describe that.
Yeah, I can't picture race control watching all of that and thinking, I'm going to let that go. I'm
glad I'm not in race
expecting
control.
some warnings at the very least. And look at Manley now. Manley's right up there in 6th place behind Curry. They've got a little bit of history, those 2.
So yeah, Willis now up to 3rd position, Richards 2nd, and now look at this gaggle here.
Manley up the inside of Curry.
Curry's wide on the grass.
Now I think Curry's absolutely destroyed his tyres, and look at that diving all over the place. I don't understand the weaving. That makes no sense to me. You're just holding yourself up. Make your move onto the defensive line and stay there. Don't swing around and confuse the car behind you. You'll just put yourself in an accident. Little rant over, sorry.
extremely extravagant defending, I'd call that, from John Curry. But yeah, I think at the moment he's really struggling, and as you pointed out, he probably has done his tyres no good at all with all this sliding around and furious defending. So I think his race is only going to get worse from here.
Now, the one person that's going to be extremely happy to have seen all of that, well, I don't think he would have seen any of it because he's so far ahead, is Ben Winter. We watch him now going down the long straight. He's got about a 6-second advantage, and as the tyres wear, I'm going to find it extremely hard to believe that anyone will be able to reel him in.
Yeah, he's got a really nice lead, Ben Winter, so he's looking in a great position here. Lap 10 already, so only 8 laps to go. Nearly 7 seconds the lead, but it is Matt Richards who's chasing him down. So there's one person you wouldn't want chasing you down would be Matt Richards, but we'll see. He's got Ben Willis there, his teammate, very close attendance. They've pulled away very slightly from
Willis is looking
Chris
very
Wilson.
racy, and we've got John Curry off into the barrier in the background, and I can't see who else was involved in that. It might have been Francis. No, Francis was too far back.
No.
Who's dropped a lot of positions as well? I can't see anyone else that has.
No, not sure. Don't think there was anyone, or whoever else was involved has not lost much time as a result.
Well, I can hear John Curry complaining about it, but I think there'll be a few drivers complaining about John Curry's standards as well. So you've got to dig out. You can't really dish out what you can't take, basically. So.
Tremendous touring car racing, though. It's definitely providing a lot of excitement, if it's also providing a bit of controversy as well. So the 2 MGs here, running 2nd and 3rd. Chris Wilson 4th, Manley is 5th, Matt Davies 6th, Ben Bennyworth's up to 7th position now, Ollie Davies is up to 8th. So the Subarus in this race, 1st, 6th and 7th, because Davies has just passed Bennyworth somewhere. So these 2 still battling away, championship all done, so this is just a straight fight between these 2 teammates. And Ben Willis has showed tremendous pace here today, in all the races really. Here's a replay of what happened to John Curry, I think, and contact with Richardson, and that fires him off. So a bit of a strange incident, really. They were just sort of driving down the straight together, and they seemed to manage to, all that space, they managed to drive into each other.
Yeah, quite an interesting one. Weird accident, as you said. I can't help but say if the car was kept in a more predictable manner, that wouldn't have happened. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, that you make your defensive position and you keep the car there. You don't move it around because you're just going to unsettle the driver behind you, who's then not going to know what you're doing, and they have nowhere to go but into you. And yeah, it's a shame to see, because it's robbing us of some great battles at the moment.
So here we go. Willis has got the inside of Richards by the looks of it here at Druids. They're side by side. Richards is trying to hang around the outside.
Willis just trying to show to everyone, yes, I am just as quick as Matt Richards. I've not had as much luck as him this season, but I'm going to prove my worth today. I mean, in pretty much all 3 races, he's been faster.
Yeah, Ben Willis has had a great day overall, and he's just proving that again in race 3 here. He's up 9 places, and now he's moved into 2nd position. But still 6 seconds behind our race leader, Ben Winter.
We've got a moment behind with Manley and Davis that we've just had, and I believe that Manley's come off best because of it. They were running each other side by side down the long straight.
Yeah, so in the corner of the screen there, you can see Manley's just in front of Ollie Davies, who's in front of Matt Davies, and then Ben Bennyworth as well there. And Davies is on the grass coming out.
I think a lot of these guys are thinking it's the last race of the season, so they're just not caring. And I've just heard race director say that's a driver warning for Lewis Manley for unnecessary contact.
So I'd imagine there's a hell of a lot of warnings being sent out in this race, because it's
I've only heard
the field.
one.
It's been frantic from the very start, and we're already on lap 13, unbelievably. So much going on in this race, but it remains Ben Winter. His lead has been cut to 4.5 seconds now. So Willis is catching Winter, but how much of that is just Winter pacing himself to the finish with 5 laps to go?
I just heard race control say, Richards, back it up, or you're going to get a penalty. Unless he meant Richardson. I just heard that in my headset. I could be completely wrong. It could be Richardson, as I think Richardson has just dropped behind Manguer, so...
I'm not sure. I don't think Richards has done anything wrong.
Richardson's move on Willis was clean. Very clean. Willis's move on Richards was very clean.
Oh, absolutely, yep. It was totally fine. And, yep, these two, they're sort of pulling in on Ben Winter, but he's still there, 5 seconds ahead. So Wilson's there in 4th position still. Lewis Manley is 5th. And here is Matt Davies, and he's got John Curry there just behind him. And he's got Francis Harold in front of him. So here we are, Matt Davies then in the Subaru, defending from John Curry, Curry's been in all the headlines so far in this race. He's anywhere the action's been, he's been there. So you can expect it to kick off again here very soon. He's attacking Davies as they come down to clearways. He's on the grass. John Curry's got 2 wheels on the grass down here. He's scrapping for every bit of tarmac he can find. Davies has gone a little bit wide, but he still maintains the position. Curry swarming around the back of Davies, trying to find a way past. Trying the undercut now, trying to get up the inside for Druids. Can he do it? He might do it here. I think he's got alongside. Has he?
And he outbrakes him into the first part of Druids. A little bit of contact, but that's just fine. And that's job done for John Curry. How much harder will it be to overtake Francis Howard in front of him? I think it'll be a little bit more difficult than that.
Curry's made a mistake. He's run wide, and Davies has got alongside him. It's contact, and I think Curry is well out of order on that one.
That was extremely strange.
Curry
ran wide and just drove straight back onto the circuit. And
Davies got alongside him, and then Curry just basically moved across on him.
Davies just the absolute innocent victim of all of that. Once again, another driver's race absolutely ruined, but let's carry on anyway, as we see Davies being attacked by Richardson going up the inside. Can he outbrake him? No,
so Davies, his race is not really turned out as he would have liked. He's down now to 12th position. Here is Ben Willis in second place, up 9 places from his starting position. And here's Lewis Manley, he's running 5th. He's just in front of Ollie Davies in the blue Subaru. And they're chasing down Chris Wilson, who's in 4th position.
Chris Wilson currently having a great race, just running 4th place at the moment, kept it nice and quiet, and he deserves a good result to end the season.
Yes, absolutely. Chris Wilson's he's shown pretty good pace today, and this would be a good result for him to come home 4th place if he can hang on to it. We're on lap 15.
I can hear some clapping in the background, which is interesting.
Sarcastic clapping, I think.
Potentially.
It's all kicking off in the venue, which is always quite amusing.
Yeah, let's hope everyone stays friends. It is just a bit of fun at the end of the day. Might be the final race of a championship season and everyone's very competitive, but let's just hope it stays friendly at the end of it.
And here comes Ollie Davies attacking Lewis Manley down Pilgrim's Drop.
That'll be a great move if he manages to outbrake him around the outside. He's thinking about it, he's holding the car there, but he just doesn't have the speed on them through there. Lewis just braked that slight bit later. And I just don't think there's anything that Ollie could do about that, really.
Yeah, it'd be very difficult to pass Lewis Manley around the outside.
Oh, extremely. I wouldn't try it.
I don't think that's going to be possible. But yeah, Davies is certainly giving it a good go, and he's sliding that Subaru around in spectacular fashion.
Yep, some great driving as they do keep gaining on Wilson. Let's see what happens as they all going to concertina up again. I think we could be in for some fireworks for the end of this race. There's only a few laps to go now. This race has flown by.
Absolutely flown by, and this is really bad news for Chris Wilson because he doesn't want this gaggle of cars to catch him, because once you get passed by one, you could then suddenly find yourself losing 2 or 3 places very quickly.
I've just heard John Curry shouting in the background. I'm pretty sure it was John Curry. And I can no longer see him at the back of the queue. Yeah, he's dropped to 13th place.
He has dropped to 13th. So
I'm going to have a little look and see if I can find anything. I might bring you guys a replay in a second.
John Curry's race is going from bad to worse. He's now dropped to 15th position. So it's not gone well for John Curry today. Certainly not in this race. And Chris Wilson now coming under ever increasing pressure from Lewis Manley, who's got Ollie Davies right under his rear wing.
John Curry pulls into the pit lane. I wonder if this is yes, it was a stop-go.
I think this might be as a result of the Matt Davies incident.
So I think the noise was a bit of protest towards race control, but
their decision is final.
It is, and to be fair, he's been very, very lucky in the race so far to have not been pinned with multiple accidents. I mean, yes, a lot of them you could call racing incidents, but a lot of them wouldn't have happened without the random direction changes. It's nothing against John Curry. He's a great driver, a fast driver. It just frustrates me a little bit when racing drivers do things like that. As big slide for Ollie Davies there coming out of the Clearways, which might set up things for Ben Bennyworth. He's going to have a little look as they go into Paddock Hill Bend for the second to last time. Bennyworth ran to the outside. Ollie's got it covered.
Yep, spectacular sideways moment for Davies coming out of Clearways.
Look at Francis Howard up the inside of Bennyworth. That was a bit of a dive bomb, but he's made it work. He came from nowhere and just absolutely obliterated him. That had Daniel Ricciardo stamped all over it.
That was definitely a send-it move there, but it was perfectly executed. Great move by Francis Harold there to take 7th place away from Ben Bennyworth.
I've been extremely impressed with Francis Harold's racecraft lately. It has really come quite a long way from earlier in the year when he even admitted himself got involved in a few accidents that he probably shouldn't have in, but as the season's gone on, his racecraft has just got better and better, and his pace has improved with it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a great race. He's had a great day today, really. Some very strong results, and this looks like another strong performance for him as he moves into that 7th position.
Bennyworth not letting him go, though, sticking right to his tail. Going to give him a fight to the end, but it looks like Lewis is on the back of Wilson now as we're about to get on to the final lap of the race and the final lap of the season, but he's been tagged and he somehow manages to keep it on the road. The joy of front-wheel drive, you just keep your foot in, but the reactions Lewis showed there to just stay in the race.
Yeah, brilliant.
Matthew Davis just been given a warning by race control. Final warning.
So yeah.
Oh no, nope, sorry. He's took that back and said Ollie Davis. Apologies to Matt Davies, but the race director got confused by the two brothers there.
Ollie Davies in the blue Subaru there. Yes, a little bit of a warning there, but we're on the last lap, and Ben Winter has still maintained that gap. He has a 5-second lead on the last lap, so he can really just coast it round to get this win.
See Pennyworth trying it round the outside at Druids, really not giving up in that battle with Harold. Great to see as they're all charging towards the final lap of the season. Ben Winter, it must be said, has driven an absolutely perfect race as Manley's up the inside onto the long left-hander, leading onto the GP loop. He's alongside. It's going to be a drag race now as we go down the hill. He's dropped back behind. He's backed out of it. That surprised me. I guess he didn't want to try it around the outside. Let's see what Wilson does. Wilson just needs to keep a calm head. It's going to be very difficult for Lewis to attempt an overtake in these last few corners.
And yes, it looks like it could be anyone's for this position.
Oh, look at this. Davies all over Lewis now.
He is all over the back of the MG of Lewis Manley. Ben Winter is coming out the last corner at the moment. I think he's about to cross the line to win in the Subaru after driving an almost perfect race. There he is in the corner of your screen, coming through clearways now, but in your main screen Davies is swarming around, so is Manley. And Chris Wilson, though, has managed to fend Manley off for several laps now, and he looks like he's going to stay in front. Winter wins in the Subaru.
Absolutely barnstorming drive from Winter. Willis is second, Richards is third, round out the podium as Wilson finishes fourth, just in front of Lewis Manley, with Davies sixth place, Pennyworth seventh, Harold eighth, Talbot ninth. Ben Brown recovers to 10th place. I still feel extremely bad for him for what happened earlier in the race. Richardson 11th, Matt Davies 12th, Daniel Hyde 13th, Edson Manguer, finishing 14th, and John Curry finishing 15th place with that penalty. What a
tremendously exciting race there, as you expect from the race 3, and great to see Ben Winter taking the win. Nice to have somebody else on the top step, and yeah, some really good racing up and down the field, a lot of controversy, a lot to talk about, and we'll get an interview with our top 3 very shortly.
Yeah, a lot of fantastic racing just before we cut away to the break. I just want to thank Mike Yao, the race director today, for all the hard work he's put in. I want to thank Mark Winwood, the commentator alongside me, Sean King as well, James as well for helping us commentate on a few rounds this season. It's been a great year, guys. Thank you very much for all your help and your support. I look forward to working with you all in the future. Let's bring on the DTM and single-seater championships, and also the final race of the Endurance Series in November. We've got 24 hours of the Red Bull Ring. But coming up next, we've got our driver interviews.
Okay, so I've got race 3 winner with us here, Ben Winter. So yeah, Ben, great race. You won it from the front. You kept the lead, made a good start, and made a gap. Managed to keep it. Looked fairly straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah, it was sort of gifted to me through the reverse grid. But Subaru just got a lightning start as always. And I just pulled sort of gap on lap 1, sort of took the pressure off. I made 1 or 2 mistakes though, trying to pull away, just pushing a bit too hard.
Yeah.
Just ran it a bit wide, got put under pressure I think twice. But eventually I think they just started squabbling between each other, which is what I was hoping would happen
Yes.
if I were to.
There was a lot of argy-bargy going back further down the field.
So yeah, the gap just got bigger and bigger. And then eventually I saw Richards take 2nd place. I thought, oh no, here we go.
You don't want him chasing you down, yeah.
And then it swapped back again, and then the gap started building up again. So it was fairly comfortable.
Yeah, so great way to end the season. I think, is that your 2nd win of the season?
Yes, 2nd win. I won Donington again on reverse grid as
well.
well.
Yeah, nice to get a couple of wins though. Nobody hands you a win. You have to go out and get it. And yeah, nice way to end the season.
Yeah, all season Subaru's had the pace, and I've had the pace. I always come alive in the races. I'm rubbish at qualifying. Yeah. So I'm always stuck in the mid-pack during race 1s. And inevitably I run into people and sort of spin. The majority of them are my fault.
It is very difficult in that midfield.
Yeah, you've got to be ambitious. You've got to make it exciting as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, all season I've just been crashing into people spinning. So it's nice to actually be in front and not have anyone to crash into.
Drive your own race. Yeah.
But,
just show the pace you got.
It's been a lovely championship. I really enjoyed racing in it. And it's been really well run as well. So I've enjoyed every second of it, more or less.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, we hope you come back for next season.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the DTM championship next month. So
a lot of guys from this are doing that, yeah. So it's looking like battle will be rejoined between a lot of you.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll just definitely focus on qualifying next time. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we've got Ben Willis is going to join us with a few words. So Ben, yeah, once again showed how much pace you've got around this Brands Hatch GP circuit. Yeah, great performance to finish 2nd, again ahead in front of your teammate.
Yeah.
New champion, so you must be pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, today has been, I was just saying to Matt actually, it's made up for what has been quite a tough season. Yeah. It's been a lot of good luck at times, a lot of bad luck at times. The pace has either been there or I just got caught up in something. So today, just to get 2 podiums has been really good. Yeah. Great fun racing out there. Got a bit messy at the start, but we got through it. Yeah. Didn't quite have the pace to catch Ben at the end there, but it was good. Really good fun.
And I suppose this bodes well for. Are you doing the DTM Championship?
Unfortunately, I'm not. I can't make all the races. So
but maybe next season you'll come back into the touring cars again. And
100%.
Yeah, it bodes really well for that. So
exactly. It's really good.
We hope to see you back then, and congratulations.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you, Ben. So we've had both our Bens. A lot of Bens in this championship. But we've got Matt Richards with us now, our new champion, and 3rd place for you, Matt, in race 3. It was a very hectic race to commentate on. Not necessarily where you were, but further down it was quite busy. But yeah, from your point of view, yeah, not bad. Another podium.
Yeah, I mean, the start was interesting. I saw some contact ahead. I saw that a Subaru came through next to me and had a really good start. So I was just backing off thinking, I don't need to get involved in this. I'll just see what happens. Then there was a bit of contact between one of the Pink Panthers and a Subaru, and some sort of melee sort of happened, and I just managed to get through and just tried to push from there. So I had some really fun battles. Had a good battle with Francis. Had a good battle with Ben as well. John Curry, Chris Wilson. It was just really enjoyable being able to fight through and not worry about too much.
Yeah, sure. And your teammate showing a lot of pace today, Ben Willis. He's had a great day, and so have you. So overall,
I mean, like you said, he's had a tough season. We've both had pace there in the cars, and sometimes he's just got unlucky with incidents and just got caught up. And he does deserve better results than he has got, just because of some of the issues that he's had. But he's done really well today, and he deserved to be in front of me.
And you're planning to come back next season to try and defend your championship?
Oh, of course, 100%.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again on winning the championship.
Thank you very much.
Another great result, and we look forward to seeing you on the podium in a few seconds, and then see you racing again next season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you. So we'll head across now for, we'll take a short break and then we'll have the podium presentations for our round winners from this Brands Hatch GP round and for the championship trophies.
Taking second place on the podium, finishing 9 points ahead, was Lewis Manley. But taking a top step, 2 race wins, was Matt Richards.
So, for those who missed it on stream, third place was Ben Willis. Third place for Ben Willis. Just a quick photo of the top three, and then we'll go on to the championship presentation.
Okay, so then moving on to the championship standings, and giving away, or sort of taking the prize pool of 450 to the top three. So finishing in third place with 193 points. Well done to Francis Harold.
It's third place in the championship for Francis Harold. A great season for Francis.
Standing in the way there of the wrong step and almost tripping over my feet. Finishing in second place, 250 points, our last year's champion, Lewis Manley.
Lewis will be fairly disappointed about losing the championship, but he should come back stronger next year.
But taking the top step on the podium, 284 points. Well done to Matt Richards.
Big round of applause for Matt. Fantastic season all year. A few mistakes which are out of his control, but a fantastic season all round. Great champion.
Okay, so that's our top three. Well done. Thank you very much for this season. We move on to next season, and maybe some surprises are in store, as always. Thanks for watching at home, and we'll see you next time round. Next time out is the Endurance Series, 24-hour. Look forward to that one. Take care. See you now.